Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Winter is Blooming, a Game of Thrones rewatch podcast by us, the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today is Season 8, Episode 2, the 69th episode of Game of Thrones. Nice.
Hey, okay.
It is titled A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, written by Brian Cogman, the Cogman, and directed by David Nutter, the Nutman. We got a double. We got a Cogman and a Nutman.
Wow, they went hard for 69. Oh, that's incredible.
They got the Nutman in there for episode 69,
Mhm.
which they needed to. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up?
Oh, what up? What up? It is always a pleasure to be here.
And it is always a pleasure to have you.
Wow.
And this is a particularly fond. I'm particularly fond of this episode in terms of my memory of watching it for the first time and kind of being like the calm before the storm, that ramp up. We were like, when we were first watching season 8, I don't know if you'll remember, but they're like going into it, we knew episodes 3 and 5 were like you need to watch this. You need to watch this on the biggest screen possible. You need to watch this as this. You need to make those the perfect viewings. So you kind of knew that 3 was. You didn't know exactly what that entailed, but as we're getting here, you kind of realize 3 is the battle of Winterfell, and that calm before the storm, the anticipation, it's palpable. It's fucking wonderful. I love this episode of Thrones. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, no, it was nice. It kind of felt like not necessarily a fan service, but more of like a service to the actors, like in everybody. I don't know. I kind of both. I guess it works both ways, but this felt just like we've come such a long way. Look at all these people we have here. Let's have one nice episode before we absolutely unleash hell next episode. Because
and for the rest of the show.
Yeah, this is one of very few, I would say, of episodes where no one dies at all. Like not even like a nameless new person that Arya just, kills or any, like no one dies. 0 people. And that's pretty rare. Pretty rare for
That's
Thrones.
interesting. That isn't that would be an interesting little factoid is how many episodes of Game of Thrones out of the 73
have 0 deaths.
Have 0 deaths in them. Not many. It can't be many.
No.
But yeah, this is at least the first one in some time.
Yeah. At the bottom of all the outlines, it always has the death section, but there isn't one, which is just very weird to see. It's always there.
Yeah.
So
blank.
Yeah. Just very weird.
Well,
but
it's a nice quaint episode. And you know, you said it's not strictly fan service. I think that what this episode does is actually everything that Beyond the Wall wanted to do with its interactions. The Suicide Squad episode where it was like, here's Tormund and the Hound talking for a second, and Beric and Jon, and Jorah and Jon, and all these different people interacting in the same place at the same time. Wow, it's so cool, but we're not gonna really spend any time with that. This episode is basically nothing but that, and it's very, very pleasing. And they let the interactions breathe. They let everyone have their moment. They let every performer perform. It's very nice. I enjoy it a great deal, and I'm excited to get into it. So if you are ready, I can begin the episode breakdown with only one location in Winterfell.
This is true. Yeah, we're at home, or closest to home, and I don't know. It felt natural to call it home.
I would say this is home in Thrones. This is where the show starts. It's where the show ends.
I could choose a home, maybe Dorne or somewhere in Essos.
Yeah. No, like I would not choose Winterfell as my home if I lived in Westeros. However, when it comes to the show, I would consider this home base.
Yeah, and everyone is forced here right now because they are about to, come face to face with the army of the dead. They are forced to be here. They don't have really a choice in the matter.
Not a lot of choice here. Not a
but,
lot of choice.
But yeah. All right, let's
But
see
yeah,
how we starting.
we pick up right off the end of last episode when Jaime arrived in Winterfell, and he stands before Daenerys Targaryen and a council consisting of Sansa, Bran, Jon, and a couple others. But she begins, Daenerys, by saying that when she was a child, her brother would tell her a bedtime story about the man who murdered their father. He told her other stories as well about all the things they would do to that man once they took back to the Seven Kingdoms and had him in their grasp. Daenerys remarks to him that Cersei had pledged to send her army north, but all she sees is one man with one hand.
Damn.
And it appears Cersei lied. And Jaime makes it clear that Cersei lied to him as well. I thought that's what we were doing. She made it clear that we were never going to do that, and I decided to stick by my oath. I decided to come up here. And Jaime tells her that Cersei has Euron Greyjoy's fleet and 20,000 fresh troops in the form of the Golden Company, providing a lot of info. He's officially like,
I'm out.
I'm not fighting for her anymore. I can't. Well, I quite literally can't go back either, probably.
He would be killed.
At least that's what he thinks
probably
right now.
Yeah.
And then by the end of 2 episodes from now, after he's had an entire night spent with Brienne and everything, he decides to go back. That's in 2 episodes.
It's so clear that they are starting a redemption arc and to go away from Cersei. Like, it is so clear, at least right now, that this is...
He's picked his side. And to fall back on that is such...
One line from Tyrion, you've always known who she is, but you loved her anyway. Maybe, I don't know.
No, I mean, like, don't get me wrong.
Weird that he
it makes sense.
Default back.
It makes sense that why he goes that way. What I really don't like is all the stuff that happens between now and his decision to go back. I wish he wouldn't have slept with Brienne for one night.
Okay, yeah, kind of like a Littlefinger storyline last season, but with Jaime. Kind of different dynamics in the works here, but it's kind of like they're making you think that he is definitely going down this path, and then to give you the but it's not even worth it. Like, this one's not even like, oh, we're killing Littlefinger. It's
it's a great payoff.
It's like, they died together.
We're leaving Brienne in shambles, and Jaime and Cersei die in a pile of rubble. Yay. But anywho, gives them the information, and even if they defeat the army of the dead, shall have plenty of men to kill the survivors. And when Daenerys asks why he came, Jaime states he promised to fight for the living, and he intends to keep that promise. And Tyrion steps up, but Daenerys quickly stops him because Tyrion was wrong about his sister too. And Tyrion argues the fact that Jaime knew of the cold reception he'd get at Winterfell, but came anyway. This surely has to mean something. And Daenerys suggests Jaime came north with the intention of worming his way into her confidence with Tyrion's help and potentially assassinating her. Which, fair concern.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
he did kill
the incestuous
the Mad King.
Yeah, the man who killed her father, who has seemingly been loyal to Cersei in every way possible and imaginable, including in the bedroom as her twin brother.
Also, literally charged at her with a spear in hand on a horse, trying to actively kill her. So,
yeah, a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff here.
A lot of red flags. From Daenerys' side.
Cogent concerns, for sure. But Sansa surprisingly takes Daenerys' side, agreeing that they can't trust him. Sansa's like, we got to hold it down. Fuck this dude. He pushed my little brother out a window. That Jaime attacked their father in the streets and tried to destroy her house and family the same as he did Daenerys's. And she doesn't know that he pushed Bran out of the window. So but the spirit of it. Jaime quickly retorts, if it's an apology they are seeking, they won't get it. He said they were all at war and that everything he did for his house and his family, and he would do it all again. And Bran interjects with my favorite line of the episode, the things we do for love.
Man, that's He's just waiting. Like, he's
Yep.
in my head, Bran, everything he says from now on, he will look forward in time to make sure that he says the right thing and that it goes the way he wants it to go. Right? So, like, in this case, all that it is just like a slam dunk on Jaime. But the thing is, no one really knows it's a slam dunk on Jaime other than Jaime. Like it kind of works, and it kind of like, because people will see Jaime react to the line as like, like, oh, why did that take him back by so much? But like, as an audience member, it feels so good,
Oh, it's great. It's great. I love it. No, and I like it. This is one of those things, something that I've been trying to pay attention to is Bran. And the fact that he has been like, I can't, not me. Nope, it's not me, not I. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do it. And then by the end, whenever they're like, how about Bran's King? And he's like, this is what I was made
What's
for.
up, guys?
Like
I've been
the
here.
little glimmers of personality and the idea that it is still Bran Stark, which they have not, he's been insistent it is not. Him dropping, things we do for love is a little indication that Bran's still in there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, that is true. Because I guess whenever he does take the throne, he takes it as Bran Stark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that is. I guess I've never thought about that. So he is still Bran Stark a little bit, and he's got a little bit of the Bran pull throughs.
Well, and it's why he'd wait at the gates, waiting for Jaime to show up. He's waiting for an old friend. He's got like, there's just all sorts of stuff that I feel like they're small, to be sure.
Yeah.
But it's little things that do indicate that Bran's still in there. But when Daenerys again asks Jaime why he's abandoned House Lannister now, Jaime quotes something Brienne once said to him: "This goes beyond loyalty. It is about survival." And Brienne stands and steps forward on Jaime's behalf. She tells Daenerys that Jaime is indeed a man of honor, and Jaime defended her from Locke and his Bolton cronies at the cost of his hand. And she then looks to Sansa and adds that without Jaime, she wouldn't be alive. Moreover, Jaime armed and armored her and sent her to find Sansa and bring her home, because he swore an oath to her mother. And Sansa eventually agrees that they should let Jaime stay without seeking approval from Daenerys first. Daenerys looks at Jon.
Daenerys feeling, I don't know, she's not feeling
slighted.
Good. Yeah, she has felt like a queen in every scenario she has been in before. Now,
until she got here,
like she's almost a this, like, if she didn't go with what Sansa was going, with what she was saying, then the North would hate her. Like she's forced into her hand. She has no power really here right now, and she just hates that. I see, maybe this is the start, the early start of her, like, just getting a little, just that little spark, the start of it.
This episode is certainly the beginning.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true. Because then her conversation with Sansa later. True.
And her conversation with Jon.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah. She's
so the only people who know are your brother and your best friend. Okay, that whole thing is definitely the beginning. Especially in this moment, whenever Sansa does defy her, doesn't defy her per se, but goes over her head, goes ahead and lets him in, and she looks at Jon. Daenerys does, like, what's up with that? You gonna do something about that? Jon looks at her and just like puts his head down, walks away. He's like, "Yep, we can't talk anymore. You're my aunt, and I'm uncomfortable with that because we have sex.
I don't know what to tell you right now. There's no way to tell you. Yeah, I mean, how does he go about telling her? Is it from him or is it from someone else? And then they have the conversation. I don't remember how it went down.
She just goes down to the crypt and he's looking at Lyanna and he's like, "All right,
it does happen this episode."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. And then that's right. Duh. It literally happens.
Yeah. For those curious, we planned on recording this episode literally 2 weeks ago. But then I got terribly sick, and then Joseph got terribly sick, and then we decided to cover some other things in the meantime to align with our schedule a little better, and now we're here. So I actually haven't watched the episode in a couple weeks. However, I have watched the episode like 6 times in the past, so I'm pretty familiar with it.
Yeah, it's very this one episode, it felt like Bran was actually coming out of the show to be like, no, you are not supposed to cover it now. You wait. And I guess we're okay now. We're in the clear.
We're here. We're there.
So, but yeah. So we're
but yeah,
chilling.
John says they need every man they can get, and Daenerys eventually acquiesces. Tyrion sighs, and Grey Worm walks over and gives Jaime back his sword. And Jaime thanks Daenerys, and as Sansa leaves, Daenerys turns to face Jon, but Jon awkwardly avoids her. And confused, Daenerys also leaves. And when Daenerys, Tyrion, Jorah, and Varys are walking down a corridor, Dany vents her anger about Cersei's betrayal. She says that Tyrion either knew Cersei was lying or allowed himself to be duped. Both Daenerys and Tyrion agree he was a fool in this, and that if he cannot help get Daenerys on the Iron Throne, she'll find another hand who can. Once Daenerys is out of earshot, Tyrion dryly opines to Jorah and Varys that one of them might be getting his position soon.
Yeah, Tyrion not feeling too hot right now. That's for sure. He's
not having a great time these days. And frankly, he'll I don't think he has a good time until the finale of the show, whenever he like is forced to make a decision about who rules.
Yeah,
it's a pretty rough going of it for him for like 2 straight seasons.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. Yeah,
and it's particularly not good because he's utterly fucking useless.
Yeah, he used to be so like impactful, or I guess I don't know. Maybe he was always making the right decision. You know, he was always the one who came out victorious in whatever strategic battle he was in. So maybe it just makes it seem that he's more important, you know. And then just when he starts to lose, it just doesn't seem like him. So it's I don't know. It's just
no. I mean, like that's the thing. Is he still? I mean, like he's been important. He's been fucking up. He's been like Daenerys is not wrong in blaming a lot of the failures of her time in Westeros on Tyrion. Tyrion has fumbled the bag multiple times.
Yeah, because if it takes her dragons out once, like beforehand, like she wanted to, she could have just known that like the entire where the armies are. Like she can literally scout with a dragon, you know, like maybe known that they would have been heading into a little surprise attack. Yeah, there. So you know, there's I'd say it's kind of that mistake isn't full. I don't know. That one's kind of that's just war, I guess. You know, just got outsmarted.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Is he's been outmaneuvered.
Yeah.
The thing that she's making him the hand for
is that is his actual job. That is his only job right now.
That is why he's there, is because he's smart. And he's been doing I mean, like his plans aren't bad. He's just getting outdone. He's falling back on old tricks, and everyone's got in a new game, you know? Like it's just it's a whole other ball game for him now, and he's having a tough time adjusting, and I don't think he ever really does until he's basically like, what if we just did an oligarchy, you know?
Yeah. What if we did what we're doing in the North right now? But Sansa and Jon actually have a voice, you know, a little bit. It's not just you, Daenerys. But different people at that point, I guess. But
true,
yeah,
it's true. But we will then transfer over to the section of this breakdown titled Reunions. At the forge, the men are hard at work with the dragon glass forging weapons, and Gendry is busy working, not seeing Arya watching him at first. And she is watching him with piqued interest. Gendry asks Arya if she has something better to do, for which she replies, "Have you made my weapon yet?" And he remarks he'll get to it after he's done making a few thousand more arrowhead-style weapons. And Arya says, well, you need to make mine first. It would be stronger than the weapon he's currently working on. And Gendry says it'll be safer down in the crypt anyway. And Arya asks if he'll be in the crypt. And he says no. And she then questions, but you're a fighter. And Gendry says he's done his share, and he even fought a few of the dead men. He even describes the army of the dead as best as possible to Arya. He tells her that he knows she wants to fight, but they are different than rapers or murderers, that they are, simply put, death.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a different ball game. And
no worry for Arya though.
Nope, she's chilling. She actually will just display absolute I don't know, Giga Chad, just like holy shit, like to actually do this in real life. What's the modern day equivalent of doing this? Like of 3 dragon glass daggers that you just dime piece. Like, I mean, just absolute in a pattern too. I mean, it would
still be knife throwing. Like, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's just you got to do what she did. I mean, there's no.
It's crazier to say. It's far easier to aim a gun than whatever the fuck she's doing.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
At least, I mean, I've neither shot a gun nor thrown knives, but I have to guess, based off my experience throwing other objects, that
the human arm just isn't as accurate as a mechanical thing. But I'd say like that poor dude that was just like back there working behind the pole, that like just like the first one, he was like, holy shit, like, was that meant for me? Was I supposed to die? And then the second one hits and he goes, you know what? I'm just going to go back to work. I think he turns around and is like, I'm just going to ignore what's going on. Life's moving forward. I saw death twice.
But she's just delivering bar after bar. She goes, I know death. Throws a dragon glass dagger, hitting a door frame in the near distance. It has many faces, before throwing another, having it land right beside the first one. And Arya adds, I look forward to seeing this one, and throws the last dagger, landing exactly beside the other 2. She walks past Gendry one last time and asks, so my weapon? And he says, I'll get right on it.
No problem. And I do love how Arya's walking up. She's just watching him at first, and he like puts a sword, like, he's just hammering away, so his arms look real big and jacked, and then like he puts the sword in the water to cool it off, and the steam just engulfs his body, and Arya's
listening.
Yeah, Arya's just like, she's like, she's like, okay, like I think
I'm gonna put your ass to sleep later.
I think we got some plans for later on tonight. I think pre-horror show of whatever tomorrow will be.
She's like, I could die. I'd like to have sex before then. And
fair enough.
Can't we all relate? But Bran is in his wheelchair out in the snow, just beneath the red leaves of the heart tree, and Jaime Lannister slowly approaches. And the first thing Jaime says is that he's sorry for what he did to him. And Bran replies, you weren't sorry then. He adds that he was protecting his family, and Jaime says that that he isn't that person anymore. And Bran states that he still would be if he hadn't pushed him out of the window. I'm like, okay.
Damn. So if Bran doesn't get pushed out of that window, he just remains Bran Stark. He never becomes the Three-Eyed Raven because he gets pushed out of the window. Like, if he doesn't get pushed out of the window, could he become the Three-Eyed Raven with legs? Like, is it a requirement for the Three-Eyed Raven to become paralyzed?
I don't know, but I think it's just more speaking to the fact that everything had to happen the way it happened for it to happen the way that it happened. You know what I'm saying? It's that Tenet idea. I love referring back to Tenet.
Yes, I see.
Whatever happened, or whatever happens, and that's just kind of the
just
way
how it has to happen because it happened to happen
that way.
Time.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Time, man. But curious, Jaime simply asks, so you're not Bran Stark? And Bran replies, no, not. Something else now. And Jaime is curious why Bran isn't angry at him, and Bran says, I'm not angry at anyone. And Jaime asks why Bran didn't tell anyone the truth. He replies that Jaime wouldn't have been able to help them in the war to come if they had been able to murder him first.
If he
when he asks about afterward,
he says, you wouldn't have been able to help in the fight if I let them murder you first. And that's like the verbiage there. I don't know if it is that specific, if it is that literal, sort of thing.
It's up to him. They would Sansa would execute Jaime if she knew He's who started the War of the Five Kings.
Oh, wow. Imagine Bran gives Arya and Tyrion a chance to escape Cersei. He gives Tyrion the chance to murder his father and escape the family. No, I think Tyrion does that all on his own. That's not a setup by Bran. But maybe Bran, like, this little lie between Cersei and him, he like did a little bit of his magic to make him leave and come to the north. And so Bran kind of starts his redemption arc, and then it's up to Jaime. He actually leaves it up to Jaime at the end to, whatever he wants to do. And that's why it's just so fucking bad, is because Jaime actually decides just to go back to Cersei.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He even asks, what happens afterwards, and Bran says, "How do you know there isn't afterwards?"
Yeah. Oh, damn. It is paralleled with Daenerys and Sansa, I believe, talking. They ask the same question, and they're much more optimistic of the world. They think it will continue, but yeah, I love Bran being, you're gonna die, dude, and I know this. So, or maybe I don't know. I'm assuming he would.
Bran doesn't know the future.
But, he has to be involved. He can only know the future if he is there, right? No.
I don't think there's any capacity in which he knows the future. I think he has visions of potentialities, but I don't think it's like because he even says, I don't know if I think it's this episode when he's talking to Sam. He sees all that is and all that has been.
Yes.
He doesn't say that he sees all that will be.
So he can affect the future, but he cannot see the future.
He can't see. Okay. He can't see the effects his actions have. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing too, is that Bran, as we know him at this moment, can't affect the future. Bran, as we know him 100 or fucking 75 years down the line, can affect the future for the Bran that we know as Bran right now. So like it's just all that shit. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's just chalk it up to the writing room and think about it that way. I know
that ultimately that's what it is, which is hysterical.
I did see a little bit of trivia that the Cogman, he wrote 11 of the 73 episodes, but he said this one was the most difficult script he had ever written for the series. He said that it relied completely on character reunions and interactions and lacked a clear plot or battle. And although there would be unavoidably be characters bringing each other up to speed with what they had been done, he admitted that his first draft was so full of recaps that it looked like a Wikipedia page. I guess that's from the Cogman.
I mean, like it's a difficult task, and I think all this does have plenty of exposition. All of it makes sense. Whereas we talked about this last season a lot, where I mean, again, with the Beyond the Wall episode, which I think might have also been written by Brian Cogman. It might have actually been D&D. I don't know, but either way, that one is a lot more filled with exposition that characters who already know what they're being told.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, we're reminding the audience that this happened, and this is what that means. This is like, there are certain conversations here that would need to happen.
Yeah. It's like, we might die tomorrow. Let's talk, is basically kind of the whole episode after Jaime is allowed to stay. And I don't know. I thought it
is I remembered the episode as like the night before, which really happens after their like council meeting.
Yeah.
Where they decide the plan of action. That's like 20 minutes. It's like 20 minutes of a 55-minute episode.
Wow. Dang.
Like it takes a while to get there. And then when we are there, it feels like I thought that's what the entire episode was. So I was like, oh, okay, damn. But we then arrive at one of my favorite scenes of the episode, where Tyrion is walking about the castle grounds inspecting everything, and Jaime approaches him. And the brothers are back together, saying a quick "here we are" to one another. And up on a staircase, one of the Stark military men spits down at them, where Tyrion replies, "and the masses rejoice." And Jaime asks Tyrion what they think of their new queen Daenerys, and after reminding Jaime that she's now his new queen as well, he remarks that the people remember what happened the last time Targaryens brought dragons north, And he also states they'll come around once they see Daenerys is different. And Jaime asks his brother, is she? Are you sure? And Tyrion says yes. And when Jaime states that Daenerys didn't seem to be sure of his brother, Tyrion agreed, saying he didn't blame her. I've made a lot of mistakes since she named me her hand. And this conversation ultimately leads to Tyrion being like, so she lied. Is the pregnancy a lie too? And Jaime says no. Jaime says for Tyrion to not be too hard on himself, that Cersei fooled him more than anybody. And this is when he delivers the line I was talking about, like literally last week, that I was like, I can't remember if he's already said it or if he says it before the end of the show, where he says Cersei uses truth to tell lies.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. I remember you bringing that up. Okay,
we were talking about it in relation to her pregnancy specifically.
I think, and you literally did say, you're like, I don't know if this has been said. I think you literally, you even said this could be maybe in the future coming up. And wow, that's just nuts. I can't remember.
It was the next episode.
Yeah, I can't remember what happens in each episode. I couldn't tell you probably what happened in season 7, episode 4. Right now, I don't know. I just watched it not too long. I couldn't tell you right now. But yeah, I always find that impressive. You could just, I don't know. This line is probably, I don't know, might be said in the future. I can't pull that out.
Next episode, it was just it just stands out, you know. And I appreciate Jaime kind of comforting Tyrion here and being like, she fooled me, and Tyrion being like, nah, no, she didn't. Fucking asshole. You always knew exactly what she was, and you loved her anyway. And Tyrion tells Jaime he never imagined he'd die at Winterfell, bringing a past joke between the two of exactly how Tyrion pictured himself dying. With a belly full of wine and a whore's mouth around his cock.
Dying though? Like, I mean, you're that old. You're probably an old man at that point,
I'm pretty sure the first part of it is at a ripe old age, with a belly full of wine and a whore's mouth around my cock.
So I don't know. I haven't reached the ripe old age yet. I just don't know how well the factory still works, basically is what I'm trying to say is like, is it still always enjoyable, Like does it ever reach a point where it is not enjoyable anymore, just because of how old you are? Or
I severely doubt it. I have a tough time imagining it ever being like, God, this sucks.
That's true. I guess the full thing, if you're going for the whole home run and you got to do a lot yourself, maybe then, just because you're old and you're skeleton and all of that. But if you can just
lay back with
a belly full of wine at a rifle, you know what? Maybe now that I'm thinking about it, okay, Tyrion, he's thought about it. He's thought about
he's
these
considered
things.
the options to be sure, but. As Tyrion is talking, finding some black humor in the prospect that being killed by the undead will deny Cersei the satisfaction of having him killed. He continues as Jaime distractedly walks away and says something about perhaps maybe I'll go down there and kill her myself if we live through this. And Jaime luckily doesn't hear that. I'm like,
yeah, it would be interesting Jaime's response to that, what he would say to that.
I mean, it wouldn't be favorable. It certainly made for a chance for us to not watch them fight again. I'm pretty sure
you think they would instantly just go at it, like because like I
think Jaime would bring up how he killed their dad, and he'd be like, "Is that not enough? Do you need to kill our sister too?" I
mean,
would you kill the woman I love?
Cersei is actively trying to kill Tyrion at every moment and is not trying to hide it whatsoever, But then, so I mean, and he was saying it in like a joking manner. He was, it was more of like to comfort his own death, comfort like the idea of him dying. He's like, well, if I die, I guess I can go kill my sister. He's like, but like he wouldn't even know that he's doing it, or unless it's a get out situation where you are trapped, and that would suck. Maybe the
interesting. I thought, and maybe I'm misremembering. I thought he said, "And if we live through this, perhaps I'll march down there and kill her myself." I thought he said expressly, if we live through this.
Oh, if
Like,
he live, not if he. I thought he said if he becomes a white, that he will just continue the march south and kill her eventually too.
that makes more sense. I was just like, maybe I thought maybe I was misremembering it, but
because if it is if we live and all kill her, then I see definitely Jaime being like,
that's why
dude.
I thought it was that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was if I die and I am a white and an undead, then I'll go kill Cersei anyways.
Yeah. Regardless, yeah, Jaime, he's distracted by Brienne teaching or watching Podrick sword practicing in the yard. He's clearly gotten much better. And he eventually reaches Brienne and they greet one another. And Jaime tells her that he's been told she's commanding the left flank during the battle, and she states, "Yeah, it's great ground, and with the rise, it should give us a good advantage." And he's like, "Yes, I think you're right. I think it's right. You're good call."
Indeed.
And she goes, "What the fuck are you doing?"
What do you mean? He's like, I seriously don't know what you're talking about.
We have never had a conversation that lasted this long without you insulting me. And he finally admits that he came to Winterfell because he's not the fighter he used to be, and that he'd be honored to under her command if she'd have him.
Oh, and she gets a little nervous. She goes, I better get back now to the castle. I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna give you an answer, but goodbye. We'll talk later. We'll have a really
I'll
good...
probably be okay. I don't know.
I guess you'll. I mean, I literally did say earlier that I would fight with you. You know, literally, and to your sister, or not to your sister, to Sansa, in front of your brother. I guess. Yeah, basically, like I do, like confessing. Like it felt like a marriage proposal almost. Of Sansa being like, "Would you fight alongside Jaime Lannister?" And she's like, I do. Or yeah, do you vouch for him? I do. And you know, Jaime has a little smile there, so it did feel definitely, you know, like a little the start to just their little love story kicking off again, but always a little soiled by knowing where it goes, but I guess for now I'll enjoy it. While Brienne is still somewhat happy, because Jaime is kind of like one of the sexiest dudes there is in the Seven Kingdoms.
Very good looking man.
So like for her to like just, I don't know, that's fucking sick, you know, for her
she
rise.
Bagged a baddie,
yeah,
for sure.
Her rise, she's on a tear, man, from Renly.
And I wanted to clarify. I looked into it. You were absolutely right. He says maybe after I'm dead.
Okay. I'm glad it's that way, because if not, I would actually be kind of mad at that characterization of Tyrion. I don't think that makes sense in his character to still want to kill her.
I didn't either. So
okay.
I'm glad it's that way. But
okay.
the effects of having watched the episode 2 weeks ago and not last night. But yes, Brienne is she bagged a good one here, and frankly, the show's wardrobe department and makeup department don't do Gwendolyn Christie justice. That is a fucking Amazonian magnificent goddess of a woman. So Jaime, I would say, has also bagged a baddie himself.
Yeah, that's some D1 baby DNA as well. You know, I don't know. That's just all around the full package. But yeah, no, she's getting my character. That's for sure. We haven't even hit why.
No.
I wanted to throw it out. Just even like now, she felt kind of like a spotlight, like a character that they were spotlighting a lot for a specific reason.
The episode's named after her.
Yeah,
I guess of the Seven Kingdoms.
That is true. It is her episode then. So I guess that makes sense. But yeah, we haven't even hit the real reason why, but she's definitely getting the character from me.
And she is she's more than deserving, if I do say so myself. It looks like this breakdown skips over one of my favorite parts of the episode, and really? I want to touch on it. Yeah, I don't believe it does. I'm gonna bring it up now, and if it does, I'll skip over it later.
Okay.
But it's the part when Davos is serving lunch to the people who would be soldiers. And the little girl approaches and is like, "I want to fight."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you can," and Gilly walks over, and we get a great moment with Gilly being like, "Well, we'll need you down in the crypt, like, I need somebody to protect me." And she's like, "Fine, I'll protect the crypt." I love the way she's like,
Yeah.
she delivers one of my favorite lines of the episode, the little girl, "But both me brothers were soldiers."
Mm.
I love when she
It
says
was
it.
so cute. Yeah, like, and
But both me brothers were
mm,
soldiers."
fine. I'll protect the crypt. It was like it was
Yeah,
just so cute and like and
it was. It was adorable.
man, I don't know. Yeah, that was it, and that I think that's what this episode kind of is just at large. It is just a nice rare to have nice feeling moments in Thrones, but they're just giving you as many as they possibly
They're like,
can
next
before.
episode's gonna feel like shit for most of the runtime, bro. You gotta get it in.
Yeah.
Most of the rest of the season is gonna feel like shit. So you
Mhm.
better
Yeah.
relish this while you can, bro.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I think
but
every season of Thrones has a quota of how many deaths they need to meet anyways, and they still met it every season. It's just this episode has 0, so they really had to ramp up production and just keep batting people off. Yeah, I mean, I'd say the death section of next episode will be quite large. Well, I guess of big named people, maybe not necessarily, but just
I
number.
mean,
It's a lot of
key
Dothraki, a
supporting
lot of
characters.
army that
We
goes.
will
But
be saying goodbye to Jorah,
mhm.
Theon, Dolores Ed, um,
The Night King,
the Night
and
King.
the
Yes.
entire army of the dead.
Yeah,
I
officially
guess.
Viserion.
Yep. Goodbye for good. Now, no resurrections there.
No resurrections this time.
Mm-hmm. I think is that it? Maybe that is it. I guess maybe a small list as well. On the grand
But then it's like
scheme.
a bunch of Dothraki, a
Yeah.
bunch of Northerners, a bunch of
10,000 Dothraki. Or I don't know how many they
Oh,
got.
I thought you were reading that. I was like,
Oh
"What
no,
the
no, no,
fuck,
no,
dude?"
no. I don't. Is there not a death section on this? What? There's just
Is it just lower?
maybe I just haven't. Oh wow, that just the breakdown is actually just very long. I thought it was over, but no, it is. It's yeah. I guess that makes sense. It is one of the craziest episodes
It's
there
beefy.
is. Wait, yeah. Oh no, that's like the book breakdown. Yeah, there is no deaths section on this one either. Maybe for season 8 they just don't have deaths.
They disregarded it.
Interesting. Oh, but if you go, oh, never mind. I was on the current episode. I'm stupid. Edison Tolet? Tolet? Who is?
That's Dolores Ed.
Oh, Dolores Ed. Dang, I didn't know that was his actual name. Yep, there he is.
Edison Tolet.
Lady Lyanna Mormont. Little Mormont.
Yeah.
That stinks. Lord
She
Beric.
goes out dope as fuck, though.
Okay.
Beric does die.
Dondarrion.
Melisandre.
Mm-hmm. Kono. Oh, he's the leader
That's one of the
like the
Dothraki.
Dothraki right now. Lady Alice Karstark. The little young Karstark. Off screen,
the young
I
Karstark
guess.
girl.
Fergus. I don't know who Fergus is.
Fergus.
Happens off screen as well. A commoner at Winterfell. Looks like Theon. The Night King. Stark. Member whose first name is unknown, was an ancient member of House Stark. Stark just died. That still doesn't even really make
probably
sense.
one of the dudes who wakes up in the crypt.
It is. Yep, actually you're right. He's a white raised by the Night King in the crypt.
Do we want to why the fuck? Why the absolute fuck would Jon think it's a good idea to put people in the crypt?
He does resurrect dead people, but that's honestly not like. I don't think that's real. It should be in the front brain. It should, But I think the front brain is just we are
defending.
about to be 100,000 plus. We don't even know how big of an army is about to be at our front door. Go into the basement, like
no, for sure. And frankly, I don't know that there is a better place for them to be.
Even with the dead bodies, I think it's
even with the already dead bodies down there.
Yeah.
It probably is still the best place to be.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think we could do a little bit more to prepare the people that are going down into the crypt to be around dead people who could be resurrected at any time.
Mm-hmm. Just set like a trap, just a booby trap in front of each person,
or
I don't know, like a,
or even guard. Send the women and children south.
Yeah,
I understand why they don't, because then it's like, how are you going to be informed on whether or not Winterfell survived, or if it fell, or et cetera? It's like, again, like I get, ultimately, I do think this is the right place for them to be, but I do think it's hysterical that it never occurs to Jon. There's another one of these massive fucking oversights here in 2 episodes where it's like, how do you just like forget that?
Yeah, I guess it would make a lot more sense if they were like, okay, and by the way, these are dead people. Have one person with a dragon glass dagger at each, just ready to go.
I'm pretty sure they do have dragon glass daggers down there, if I recall correctly.
We got that little girl down there defending the crypt. She's down there.
Protect the crypt.
Yeah, she's down
Hopefully
there.
Hopefully she lives the next episode. That would suck if she doesn't.
I didn't see it. That was all the deaths. That was it. So that was the end.
She did it.
Yeah, she made it through for sure.
Yeah, no. The scene where they wake up in the crypt is it's a rough one. It's a rough one. A lot of the sound design next episode is one of those things that sticks with you a little bit.
Yeah.
In terms of like I don't know, blood curdling screams of innocent people. It's a rough one. It's a rough one. But yeah. Anywho. I just thought I had to bring it up because it was always, I remember even as season 8 was going on and they were like, we'll put them in the crypt.
And you were, wow, that never occurred to me.
It was a point. Well, I remember it being like a point of conversation online and people being like, so is there just no chance the people in the crypt come back to life? Is there a time limit on how long they have to be dead before they can be resurrected? They're like, it seems like a pretty big oversight. And then it ends up just being a pretty big oversight.
I mean, honestly, a lot of it is they're going off of just like, fuck it, I guess this is how it works. Like Jon's like,
that's true.
They're like, how do we kill them all? And he's like, well, he made them all, so I guess if we kill him, they all die. And they're like, okay, sure. Sure, yeah, that's the plan. But like,
I wonder if Jon was like, there's got to be a statute of limitations. On the length of time before they can be resurrected,
like this Stark guy's been dead for 300 years. Like, no way there's enough there for the Night King to work with.
It's just a skeleton now. Right? Like, let's not kid ourselves, I'd
say there would be eventually a limit. Well, there's magic, so it just doesn't fucking matter.
We watched full-blown skeletons, basically.
I was trying to think of like, okay, the skeleton's still there, but your brain, maybe he needs the brain. If there's just an atom of a brain left, that's it. It just needs a mindless, just that's all. But once your brain's decayed and gone, then you can't be there's nothing to resurrect. Maybe. But it's magic, and he's the Night King, so I don't think that matters. I think it's just, if you're dead, he can resurrect you.
If you're dead, like if you are no longer living, he can do whatever he wants. But anywho, we're on to the princess and the queen, where elsewhere back in the castle, Jorah enters to speak to Daenerys on Tyrion's behalf. He tells her she would give him a second chance, and they both remark on why Jorah isn't Daenerys' queen, or hand of the queen. It'd be hilarious if Jorah was Daenerys' queen. But she remarked, like, I would love to see that. Jorah just in drag. Like, let's get it.
I'd say Jorah would be down. I mean...
Well, I think Jorah would be down. I want to see Jorah in some fishnets. And I want to see him just getting down for Dany.
Screw Daenerys, screw Aegon or Jon Snow. No, we need Jorah on the throne in queen drag. I mean, that's
Let's
like
do it.
the drag queen. I mean, like that's like kind of badass. Wow, it's crazy
The
that
drag
Jorah.
queen of the
Yeah.
Dragon Queen.
Ooh. Okay, now we're talking.
Yes.
Would Jorah be the best candidate though? You think? You know, now that we're on, I think.
Okay, yeah, let's go with this for a second. In Westeros,
Like
you wanna
imagine
subvert
Tormund.
expectations
Like
a little bit.
imagine
Tormund
Tormund.
would be a good
Yeah,
drag queen.
that's what I'm thinking.
I think he would be a great
Um,
drag queen. There are a few, there's a few seemingly more obvious options. I think Oberyn Martell would have been a
he'd
great
fuck it
drag
up.
queen.
He'd fuck it up.
He'd fuck it up. He'd
Hmm.
fuck it up. He's got the agility on him. You know he's doing crazy shit on that stage, bro.
Hmm.
But I tend to think of just like the bigger, burlier dudes
Yeah, just
when I'm
'cause
thinking of who I want to be drag queens.
the Hound.
Uh, see the
He
Hound.
wouldn't be down with it.
He
There's
wouldn't.
no
He
way.
wouldn't.
But
That's what's interesting about thinking like in Jorah. I think Jorah would take some convincing.
mhm.
But I think Tormund, it's no question. He's like, wait, I can do that, and they'd be like, yeah, and he'd be like, okay, like I think that's kind of the vibe that
Yeah.
Tormund's got on him.
Oh man, yeah, you just gotta throw Brienne in there for Tormund, and he'll do anything. He'll do anything for Brienne, if that's in the
Another
situation.
Brienne
But
adjacent character,
mhm.
Podrick.
Oh,
I
dude.
think Pod's down.
Yep. No, okay. This is good. This is a different the dragons, or what was it? The
the drag queens for the Dragon
for
Queen.
the Dragon Queen. Damn. Yeah, that's pretty good.
The drag queens for the Dragon Queen. The show consists of Jorah Mormont, Tormund Giantsbane, and Podrick Payne. There are three.
Huh.
There are two Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. You know, like that's there are Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo.
Rickon, give him something. You know, this is Rickon's time to shine. I don't know if he's met the age requirement yet for this. Maybe we'll wait a little bit. Actually, now that I think about it, but hey, give him something. You know, when he comes of age.
You know, maybe Dickon. Maybe Dickon would have been down.
Rickon and Dickon. They could have been a little pair. They could have been like a little
traveling
that'd have been
duo.
That'd have been a fun thing. Yeah. Rickon and Dickon. Come see, gather all to see Rickon and would it be Dickon and Rickon or Rickon and Dickon?
I mean, like if Rickon met the age requirement, you could do a whole lot of fun stuff there. You know, Dickon Rickon.
Okay. Damn.
No.
There's a whole. I mean, I guarantee there's no way that porn exists. I mean, there's Game of Thrones porn. I guarantee it. But this sect.
That one. What's that rule?
Rule 34. Yeah.
34. Yeah.
Yeah. Just Rule 34. Never mind. I was about to say Rickon, Dickon, but no. Just we need to expand the Game of Thrones horizons. You know, a little bit. We need to
let's move
so
on
medieval.
Let's move on from the Cersei and Jaime of it all, the Daenerys and Jon of it all. Let's get a little freaky in here. Let's
just
let's put on the drag queens for the Dragon Queens.
Just a crazy fucked up animated show that just throws all of these characters in any situation you'd want, you know. So like if an actor's not cool with it, or if they're not, you know, if they're a little puss, then like we can just still go.
They're a little puss.
We can just go forward.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. We're gonna do a fanimation of it, you know.
Game of dragged it can't go anywhere in there. Trying to think of a name for the show, or like the venue or anything of the sort. I don't think it. Game of Thongs, Game of
bad.
You know, it's the best I could come up with right now. I think I'd have to.
Ice and Fire.
Okay, now we're cooking. A Song of Ice and Fire. Here we go. I didn't think to work with that one. That could definitely. Okay, yeah. This could go places. Maybe we shouldn't talk. Maybe we should keep this private. Maybe this is too good to let out.
Copyright it.
Yeah, and let's get some
need
legal.
To protect our intellectual property here.
Mm-hmm. Which is it's not ours to begin with whatsoever. It is Warner Brothers. So right. So like we have no shot. But anyway,
Yeah. Anywho, I do want to go ahead. All that to say, my favorite character of the episode, since I won't get a chance to do it again, unless maybe I end up doing it next episode, is Jorah Mormont. I like Jorah a lot. I like Jorah a lot in this episode. I think that him writing for Tyrion here is a great look for him. Like just
okay, three
makes
for
him.
I like that.
That's 3 for him now.
Yeah, he did have 2. It is 3. He just jumped over Hodor and Daario Naharis and Brienne of Tarth. Well, never mind. Brienne will get another one from me, so she is tied with
Beautiful
Jorah there. So we'll move those 2 down, and they're tied with Samwell Tarly and Barristan Selmy. It's
a good crew.
Yeah,
that's a good crew.
I like that. I like that a lot.
But yeah. Anywho, Jorah insists to Daenerys that she made the right choice in naming Tyrion her hand. Yes, he has made mistakes, but he learns from them. He takes them to heart, and he has Daenerys' best interests at heart. And Jorah advises that Daenerys forgive Tyrion and offers another suggestion of advice. He's the reason Daenerys and Sansa go and have this little sit down, which is sweet. In Winterfell's library, Daenerys finds Sansa conversing with Lord Jon Royce, who is advocating for sealing the gates as soon as they have their troops deployed outside the walls. While Sansa is in favor of keeping them open as long as possible to let as many refugees reach Winterfell as possible, Daenerys requests a private audience with Sansa once Royce is gone. And I appreciate that Royce is like, I will not be dismissing based off of your request. I will look at my queen and I will check out what's going on there. He looks at Sansa and Sansa nods and he's like, all right. Nods at Daenerys on his way out, like doesn't even, no malege or anything.
None of that. Nope. Yeah, he's Daenerys.
Yeah, they don't respect her out here, for sure.
No.
But
this is Texas if it was snowy. This is like we are out in the Texas lands. I feel like this of the what would the actual modern geographical equivalent of Winterfell be? Maybe like a little bit
in terms of politics, or in terms of just like
because Texas doesn't make sense because like warm just temperature and shit. But like it makes sense with like I guess politically. Like I guess if you mixed like Florida and Texas, like the Florida type of people. No, Northerners are actually pretty chill. They're not fucking crazy.
I don't know, they're flagrantly racist, so Florida and Texas might not be that bad.
Yeah, but as far as that, yeah, that's where I was trying to go down that road. But yeah, very clear. Daenerys is not. I don't know. Did Daenerys have a reaction? Do you? I don't know if I caught. I didn't really catch that Royce got Sansa's approval and not Daenerys.
Yeah, no, I don't think she got she felt some type of way about that particularly, mostly because I mean, it's Jon Royce, like who gives a fuck, But
damn, yeah, fair enough.
This dude is like, it's hilarious how self-important he is.
He makes himself feel important,
Yes.
Yeah. That's what you're trying to say is that like he feels that he's much more important than he is.
He think like there's what I also like kind of respect about it is that he thinks he's extremely important, which in fairness he probably is the closest thing to like a formal ruler of the Vale now that Peter's dead.
Yeah, I guess Robin.
And technically, it's still Robin, but he's fucking Robin Aaron, who I would even want less than Jon Royce. But like he's willing to yield to Sansa, like he's down to ride for Sansa, which does make him that does redeem him a little bit in my books, but it's so the air of just superiority he carries with him
it's like his
at all times.
Yeah, it's like the way he holds his face, like the way he's in his little beard, his little fucking beard, man. I don't know. What do you even call that? Kind of baller. You know what? Kind of bold. No one else is rocking that beard.
He's got the cul-de-sac going on up top too, which is
the cul-de-sac. Wow.
It's wrapping around the head here.
Yeah.
Bald on top.
That's awesome. That is, I've never heard it referred to as the cul-de-sac.
Oh no shit. Yeah, no,
That's
it's a
incredible.
great hairstyle. It's a great hairstyle.
Wow. I bet that's like offensive to be like told. Like you have the
Yeah,
hairstyle of
right.
the
Like
cul-de-sac. Like, I feel like that's like I would hate to hear that.
it's typically not a choice.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true. Yeah,
it's typically not
you're
like,
just
oh,
there.
I chose the cul-de-sac.
You know what?
You know,
Let's start a revolution. I'm bringing the
bring it.
it's a, what's the word? Like it's my decision, but there's a word. I feel like there's just a single word for that. Like this is my
The decree.
my self-decided cul-de-sac, but I feel like there's one word that would work better there.
No, I get what you
like my choice.
chosen.
This is
you chose
the chosen cul-de-sac.
The chosen cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I guess it even works with
the
alliteration
Anakin
there.
Skywalker of cul-de-sacs here.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
But,
my aunt cuts my hair. She's gonna be very confused when I come up, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, can you give me a cul-de-sac? Like, is that in your skill? But is that known? Is that, I don't know, amongst
it's hysterical that
hairstylers?
I could probably give you a cul-de-sac.
That's true. It doesn't take much skill to give a cul-de-sac. I guess that's fair.
But I would say it does have to be a certain, like, if you want it to look like there's a certain element to it where it almost has to be wisping. It can't be like a hard fucking line.
If it was it's too clearly the chosen cul-de-sac. You have to have a middle you have to find that middle ground.
There needs to be some thinning going on, or else, ironically enough, the not chosen cul-de-sac looks better than the chosen cul-de-sac.
Damn, we're going a lot of places this episode. I mean,
shout out Jan Royce.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. From Jorah Mormont to get us down the drag show train, and then Jan Royce, two characters that I would have never expected to get us on tangents, going just absolutely.
No, those are two paragraphs in a row on the breakdown here. But yeah, Lord Royce also a imperial bureaucrat for the security firm in Andor. He's the one who Narc goes and talks to at the beginning of episode 1, who's like, I'm going to a conference down this way and I'm going to be here for a while. So
that's Royce. Oh my god! I bet you probably said that during the whenever we were covering it.
I did during Andor.
Yeah,
I did during Andor.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but it's relevant again.
It's clicking again.
It is. Wow. It's cool. It's always fun. I love the Star Wars Game of Thrones connections, and there are aplenty. But yeah, once Royce is gone, Daenerys remarks on how she thought they were on the verge of agreeing in regards to Jaime, and asks Sansa why she changed her mind. And Sansa replies that she trusts Brienne's judgment completely. And Daenerys responds that she wishes she could have faith like that in her own advisors. And Sansa tells Daenerys that Tyrion is a good man. He was nothing but decent to her while she was a captive in King's Landing. And Daenerys replies that she chose Tyrion for her hand not because he was good, not just because he was good, but also because he was intelligent and ruthless when necessary. And Daenerys says, he never should have trusted Cersei, to which Sansa replies, you never should have either. And wanting to clear the air and find common ground between them, Daenerys acknowledges she and Sansa have similar experiences. They have complicated families. They're both women who've been trusted with ruling in a world where few women can do that. And they've done it well, to which Sansa does agree. However, Daenerys notes that despite this, she can't help but feel like they're still at odds with one another. And it's just the way she says that line.
Yeah.
That feels so fucking demeaning. I don't know what it was, but it was
feel but notice. Maybe we're not on the best of terms, like it's like it's so passive aggressive,
And I like Sansa being like I love the whole vibe Sansa's bringing to this thing, where Daenerys is being delicate, and I will grant her that she's trying to give an olive branch. She's trying to make good.
Yeah.
She knows Jon wants that. She knows she wants that. Like it's tactically a good idea to be in good with Sansa Stark. Regardless. And so she's doing this whole, and Sansa's just being like, yeah. No, for sure.
No,
yeah,
I
for sure.
I think it's also just like throw all the queen and every title, everything out. It's just Daenerys also likes Jon and is kind of like, I really need his sister to like me in order for like Jon to like me more. So like I have to make a good impression on Sansa. You know, it's kind of just like the
and she noticed earlier in the episode how Jon sided with Sansa and is like, and then he ignored me immediately after, so maybe there's something there as well, you know. But you know, she says, your brother. And Sansa admits she is wary of Daenerys because Jon clearly loves her, remarking that men do foolish things for women they love, and their emotions can be manipulated to exploit them. And Daenerys replies that she's only known one goal all her life, the Iron Throne. But then she met Jon, and now she's at the north, having brought her armies north to fight the army of the dead. And taken aback, Sansa responds that she should have thanked Daenerys when she arrived, and Daenerys confides in her that she loves Sansa's brother and trusts him completely. So tell me again, who manipulated whom? And
it's all love, man. But
it's all love, man.
In a little, not really anymore. That's kind of all been sucked out, dry there. No more.
And it really sucks. There's this thing that happens in episode 4 where you can tell. I think it's episode 4. It's the beginning. Episode 4 is such a bizarre episode because it starts with like the funeral and the revelry and the post-win, and then we go to King's Landing and shit. Like it's just a bunch of shit. Happens. But she like comes on to Jon and is like, "Come on, like let's do this thing." And he wants to real fucking bad, you know. He's like, I can't, you know. He's like, I just can't do it, you know. Like,
I mean, you can't blame the guy, you know.
No, not one bit.
Like, that's the thing. He could have lived his whole life without knowing that. Is that better or worse? I don't know. You know, like if he was never told, ever, this information was never found out, Bran and Sam are just fucking dead, or they just don't find out, and they just live their life. You know, Jon is still Jon Snow his whole life. Is that better? You know?
Here's the thing.
It's like it's just
probably
what you know
it probably
is your reality.
Is better.
You know, like it's just what you know.
And do you mean better for Jon personally, or better for like?
I guess obviously it is better for Jon personally. Just obviously, it would be better for him. But I guess like
I'd even argue. Well, and here's the thing: there's a possibility that if Jon doesn't learn that he's Aegon Targaryen, he does actually become the king of the Seven Kingdoms.
Anyways,
the King Regent. He marries Daenerys.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, very true.
Which I would argue would not be better for Jon. I think it is better for Jon that he finds out and ends up being like, fuck this. I'm going north of the wall. You know, like I want to be out there. Like, you know, like
see you later. Yeah, I guess that is better. I guess I was my head. I'm more of in the line of the what if. You know, if you had to put yourself in this situation,
I'd rather not know.
Right? Oh, but here's the twist.
I mean, that's
here's
Daenerys
the twist. You don't know ever your whole life, and you are married to Daenerys. You are the King Regent. You live your life. You have no idea. But when you reach the afterlife, everything is made apparent. Everything you learn everything. And once you reach the afterlife, so your afterlife, your life is good, but then your afterlife, you forever know that, you know, you were married to your aunt and having sex your whole life with her, or you find out early. And
I think once it's been done, it's been done.
Yes, but they did it. They already did it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
so you're saying there's no harm in keeping it going, or like.
If he doesn't know,
okay,
as it's happening,
but the afterlife though, that's a big. I feel like that's the
afterlife's big, but the afterlife's eternal.
That's forever, and you got to live with that forever. You either got to live with it.
He's got to live with it forever now.
Oh, I see, but he could live forever knowing that once he knew, he cut it off. You know, like once. And
we're going Game of. That's fair, but can he take solace in the idea that he never knew?
Fair, because then why would he
Because
have
then he's dead. He
changed
can't change it
anything?
now.
Okay,
Yeah.
damn, you're right. You're right. You would just stick with because obviously, holy shit,
I
like
mean,
you just
it's Daenerys fucking Targaryen, man.
yeah. Okay, I think we've arrived at our answers. Tyrion's right. John's, you know, I guess just everybody's kind of right. And it's
there's a lot going on.
The
here,
wrong
for
answer
sure.
that seems right at first ends up not. It's just it's what you think out the gate.
It's true. It's true. But anywho, Daenerys says he's only the second man in my life I can say that about in terms of being loving and trusting of completely. And when Sansa asks about the first, who was it? Daenerys replies, someone taller, making both Sansa and Daenerys laugh.
Damn, fuck Kit Harington, I guess. You know, they're like every
Bro,
opportunity.
you're tiny.
Yeah,
Bro, you are
every
5'8".
we
You
have.
are an average height man, you short pussy.
Yep.
You know,
no, if we have an opportunity to make fun of it, we will. You know, it's like it's
hysterical. And I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna be out here claiming that I'm a tall man by any means. I am not much taller than Kit Harington by like maybe an inch. I'm like, I can't imagine looking Tyrion looking Kit Harington in the eyes and going, "You short little guy."
Yeah,
you know, like you
thing.
little.
It's all
dude.
relative. Kit Harington is taller than I am, so I'd be looking up to Kit Harington. So I mean that's it's all relative, you know. To Tyrion, we're all. I mean, I'm a giant. I'm actually really tall to Tyrion, you know. So like, relative. it's just from whoever's eyes.
Somebody get Victor Wembanyama in here. No, but
yeah, I guess that's who Dany needs. You know, I don't know. That's the only thing that matters for John is the perfect everything, and it's just nope, not tall enough. Sorry, can't.
Nah, he's itty bitty. Yeah. He's a little guy. But yeah. However, Sansa has one sticking point that drives a wedge through her and Daenerys' new rapport. Assuming they succeed in defeating the Night King and Cersei, and Daenerys takes the Iron Throne, what happens to the North? And after taking it back from the Boltons, Sansa vowed they'd never bow to another ruler. And before Daenerys and Sansa can talk that out, Maester Wolkan interrupts.
Yeah.
Theon has arrived. And back in Winterfell's Great Hall, Theon awaits with a detachment of Ironborn, and he informs Daenerys of Yara's plans to reclaim the Iron Islands from Euron in her name. But he's come back to fight to defend Winterfell. If Lady Stark will have him. And this is a good moment. Sansa running up to him and giving him a big old hug. This hits. It really does. It's good, man. I love it.
You know, it's a good moment for Theon and Sansa, and it is all good. It hits all the boxes. But another Daenerys kind of like a like not feeling the best
about it. If Lady Stark will have me.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like I will fight for you. I will defend Winterfell for you, you know, and Daenerys, I think I do remember her having a reaction to this one, kind of, you know, happy for them, but also, you know, at the same time just kind of like, you know, that's great, Theon.
At least she got the news that Yara is going to go reclaim the Iron Islands in her name.
That's fair. Hey, amongst everything that's going on,
that's like a big win.
Good.
That's a big win.
That's a whole kingdom, right? Aren't the Iron Islands one of the 7 kingdoms?
They are one of the 7.
So yeah, that's pretty damn good, I'd say.
I would too, but elsewhere, Missandei finds herself on the receiving end of a lot of racial prejudice from the hostile Northerners, including kids. Man, that's the rough one. I was a little like
why?
I thought maybe like
yeah, I think it's just a show.
One thing where like.
It's that institution, you know, they're just that brought up.
And that's
that
what
way.
makes it even more interesting is that it'd be one thing if they just never seen black people. Then it'd be a little bit less of it. This is an outright, they've been taught that these are bad people. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, it's a rough look. It's a rough look for the North, mostly because never black people here. Feel the need to teach that to your kids anyway. You know, like
yeah, that is something I've never thought of. Is Missandei the first?
Yeah, Missandei and Grey Worm, the Dothraki, like they're the first people of color that the Northerners have seen, and who knows how long.
Wow. Yeah, that's never thought about it that way. But yeah, it is a weird, and like just to show it too, to specifically show a scene of the kids be, like to make this shown is very
Like the kids, man, not even one of the kids kind of looking back and being like even just a little fucking
yeah, like
indication
yeah.
that she doesn't love the way that things are or something, it's not like I'm not looking for social justice warrior over here, but we're also dealing with, a fantasy television show, and I get the grown-up Northerners being stuck in their ways and being stubborn, but it does feel like the kids could be the beginning of an evolution to something new, as that kind of seems like the theme ushering
Yeah.
out of this season.
I guess for this particular scene, it's just to to show that they don't have a place here, like their conversation
No,
that they
yeah.
go into
And
of
it
wanting to go
works. It works
somewhere.
for this scene. I just more like just as the mechanics of the North. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Why? Why this? Because here's the thing. I think they, even without this, they already don't feel at home here.
Yeah.
They're not
Just
from
the
Westeros.
fact that it's cold, that's alone. That's enough. Like that could be it. They're like, "Oh my god, it's so cold here. It doesn't feel like home at all. We don't need racism to be thrown in the bag there, It's not necessary." But
And like and it's more just that it's coming from kids, because like I do believe the Northern adults would be racist. I do believe that,
yeah.
because they're even, I mean, like, they don't even like Southerners, white people, Southerners. So, like, it doesn't surprise
Yeah.
me at all that they don't like anybody else who's not Northerner, and they especially don't like people from Essos. Like, that doesn't surprise me. I want to qualify this by saying I don't think that that's like okay, but I do understand that that is what these characters are like.
Yeah. We are in fantasy
So
world
like
here. We are in Game of Thrones.
the
So.
adults being like, like maybe an adult takes the children away instead of the kids voluntarily being like, like,
Yeah.
that's the part where I'm like, come on now, like the kids, bro, like the kids.
Yeah.
It's just,
they probably just didn't think of how it was portrayed. They were just thinking, oh, it serves really well to prove for their conversation they'll have here.
They're not welcome here.
Yeah, but the grander scope of what it implies is a little different. Yeah, that would have been perfect.
Simple if the two girls like kind of even can talk to Missandei, and then one of the grown walks over and is like, no, like like takes them, and then and like that doesn't even actually change anything about the scene. It just makes it seem a little bit more, I don't know, logically realistic too. Like,
yeah, those kids were ready for that too. They were like, I mean, I guess they are child actors, and they're just told to look angrily and then walk away. Is kind of, I guess, just what they're being directed to be
quaking in their boots over black people.
Like, yeah,
you're 5.
I guess
you're 5. Grey Worm could stomp on you.
I mean, yes, yeah, he could.
I know he won't, but
an absolute, like, I love the question of how many 12-year-olds could you take on at one time. Grey Worm, I mean, the number might be infinite. I
don't think any number of 12-year-olds could take down Grey Worm.
Yeah, no, especially if they acted like this to Missandei as well. It's like extra rage towards them. He's fucking these 12. Yeah, it's just a bad scenario to think of. Just one man just mass murdering 12-year-olds, but no, he'd be very good at doing so.
Second Anakin Skywalker reference of the episode.
Wow, we are really making full circles here. We're going everywhere.
Yeah. No, but it does serve their conversation well. Grey Worm approaches to ask if she would stay once Daenerys has the Iron Throne, and he says he'll fight for his queen until the war is done, but after. Do you want to grow old in this place? Is there nothing else you want to do? Nothing else you want to see? And when Missandei admits she'd like to see the beaches of Naath again, Grey Worm promises he'll take her back there. And his fellow Unsullied will come to protect the natives from the pirates and slavers who've long preyed on the peaceful Naathi. The last 2 lines of this interaction never made sense to me. They've always been hysterical. Whenever he's like, the little exchange at the end here, whenever he's like, then I will come back with you. And she's like, my people, we're peaceful. And he's like, then we will protect you. Like, okay. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it was very weird. It was the classic kind of trope of like, hey, once this is all done, or like, hey, let's just get out of here, like kind of thing. With Rhaenyra doing at one point, like it's been Daenerys, at one point with, I feel like, was it Dario that said no? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it comes up every now and then, and it was feeling good, and I'm like, it's like what a nice, and then like it was like
the last two lines, like they're very, very just. Like they're setting up the line where Grey Worm's like, then we will protect you. But if she had said something like, my people face these sorts of problems, so what about that? And then he's like, well, we will protect you. Like, then but she's like, my people, we're peaceful. And he's like, then we'll protect you. And he's like, okay,
thanks.
I don't know. I
Grey Worm. Yeah, very
they do a great job delivering the lines, but like the lines themselves, this was the first time I've ever been like, "What's up, Cog Man?
Yeah,
Cog, what are you cooking here?"
Yeah, maybe he likes his battles. Maybe he likes a plot. I guess he likes to work with a plot, not just little satisfying nuggets of character reunions and stuff like that. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, like it's just a sad interaction. When we know what's to come, so it's a real brutal one.
He gets there. They get to Noth, right? They see he protects her from the peaceful people there, and
that's the thing is that the line reads like he's gonna protect them from the peaceful people, and it's like, what the fuck do you mean by that?
That's why it's so awkward. It is just so weird, but. Yeah, weird. I don't know. It is very clear that this episode is just kind of snapshots, just little nuggets of different characters that we can get. And it was going well. They were going well, but it did just end a little strange. It was like, oh.
Yeah, no, like that was definitely like that scene was the only one so far that I've had any like, just a couple choices that I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why we had to do it like that. But regardless, the sound of the horn blowing brings Jon out to the courtyard, where to his delight he finds Ed, Beric, and the rest of the Night's Watch dismounting from their horses. And as he moves to greet them, he is unexpectedly tackled by Tormund, ecstatic to see. And again, a contender for my favorite line is whenever Tormund holds him out and goes, my little crow. He calls him his little crow. It's so fucking cute.
My little crow.
I absolutely love it. He's my little crow.
No, yeah, Tormund's definitely game. Tormund's just like one of the coolest characters there is, man. I don't know. Like
we talked about it a few episodes back. Whenever he says to Gendry, like, we'll make do about like who they're gonna have to have sex with.
Yeah, that's right.
My little crow. I like to think that beyond the wall, Jon Snow and Tormund explore each other's bodies.
I mean, hey, you got to stay warm somehow. They did say it, and whenever they got to find their own way out there. I guess the Night King.
My little crow.
Since the Night King's dead, is it still just cold up there, or will it? I know it started to get green, right? It started to like melt eventually. Right?
Yeah,
is that kind of like the final shot?
It's gonna return to a little bit of a normalcy here.
So I guess they won't have to keep warm for too long. It will mellow out, but yeah, that's definitely what's going on north of the wall there. Just keep them.
They're holding
close.
hands.
Yeah, that looks really cute. Yeah, look at them. And I got other Jon, I guess, right here looking very confused.
You got Jon on the throne.
Yeah, he's very confused as to what's going on.
He's like,
as to how he's over
what's going on there?
Yeah.
My little crow. And unfortunately, the new arrivals bring bad news. Last Hearth has fallen. The Umbers are now part of the army of the dead, as is anyone who has not reached Winterfell. The undead will be here before daybreak.
Uh-oh.
It's like, God damn. All right. But then night gathers. The defenders gather to make their plan for the battle to come. Jon notes that even with the weapons of Dragonglass and Valyrian steel and the defenses they have laid, the army of the dead outnumbers the living too heavily for them to have a chance at winning in a conventional battle. When Jaime asks what they can do, Jon suggests they make the Night King their primary target, given that he raised every monster in the army of the dead. If they can kill him, his army should die with him.
Yeah.
And I love that nobody's like, do we know that for sure? They're all just like, sure thing. All right, let's do this thing. Jaime predicts that the Night King, if this is true and if this is truly his weakness, will never risk himself on the battlefield. But Bran interjects that the Night King will come for him, as he's tried to kill the three-eyed raven many times before.
Yeah.
And Sam's little, but why?
Yeah. Because he wants to murder everything, and I am the memory of everything. Sam, you know why that's important, of if the memory of everything were to go away. And it got me, like, whenever he said this, I was kind of like, oh, damn. Like, if the internet, right, our Bran, were to be just destroyed, gone, that's where we have everything down, like on record. If it's not on the internet, it's in the libraries, I guess, and books and stuff. So we still got stuff, but it'd be a lot harder if we didn't have the internet. So, like, it is this weird thing. You can't really apply this to, like, today, I guess. But it got me to think of, like, has there been a time, like, before in human history where we reached a freaking level that we didn't think we did before, but then just because the history got wiped and, like, everything, all the records and stuff, that we have no idea about it. We have no clue because there's just no memory.
Killing Bran is just burning down the Library of Alexandria,
Exactly.
Like, that's just
exactly. But on like a bigger scale, I love the kind of the quote of, like, you die twice whenever your body, dies, and then whenever a person speaks your name for the last time, or thinks about you, and that's, I don't know, it is pretty cool to think of it that way. That you're, that feels like that's what it's all about. You're trying to be as remembered for as long as you can, and not necessarily to live for as long as you can.
How do you feel about Sam's little monologue here?
Sam's monologue?
Memory. His little memory monologue where he's like, that's what living is, isn't it? Remembering?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A little forced, it felt,
Yeah, I'm like, again, a little slanted. I'm like, I don't know if I would define living as remembering, but sure.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Living is just being in the moment and not, that is weird. But I guess it's poetic, and they're all about to die, and they're all just being philosophical because, like, why the fuck not? It's like we just
no, and I like the spirit of where he's coming from, of course, but like to reach the conclusion
that living
where
is
Sam's like, well, that's where he like starts, but then he's like, if I was gonna kill the world, you would be where I started. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know that all the reasoning you gave before that is why.
If living is remembering is
no, yeah, like by his logic that he uses there, but I think you could reach that conclusion without the logic he used strictly.
Yeah, it's just obvious. If there's one guy that you're gonna single out and kill as the Night King, it's just his Bran. There's not even close to. Dany would be number 2.
Dany would be the other. Yeah.
And then that's it. From then on, it's just meat to him.
It's also just very funny for that. Like, again, a room full of people to be like, well, if Bran and Sam say so.
Yeah.
It's always it's fine. It's not bad. I don't want to frame it like that. It's just very funny to me that, like, anytime characters are just like unanimously trusting of someone, they have no idea who this fucking guy is. Like Jaime Lannister is standing there listening to Samwell Tarly say stuff about how living is memory, and I gotta think he's sitting there just like, fucking A, wrap it up, brother.
True.
I feel like that's like that's just, it's just funny to think about these sorts of scenarios. I don't think it's bad by any stretch. I just think it's a little funny. But Jon states that they will place Bran in the crypts for his safety, but Bran refuses, declaring that he'll wait in the Godswood to lure the Night King out. And they're like, okay. And Sansa and Arya balk at the prospect of Bran using himself as bait, But Theon declares he and his men will defend Bran as an atonement for his previous capture of Winterfell. I took this castle from you once. Let me defend you now. Which was actually a good moment. I liked that.
Sick.
And when Tyrion, yeah, I dug that. I love that shit. But when Tyrion questions how the Night King will know where to find him, Bran reveals the claw marks the Night King left on him during their last encounter. He says, he always knows where I am. And everyone's just like, okay, sure he does.
Maybe would have been important information to know before that, like, he knows that you're right here and we are all also right here, you know?
Yeah,
like,
no shit.
I don't know. Would have just been nice to know that before.
The way he, like, looks at him, he's like, his mark is on me.
Yep.
He always knows where I am.
He marked me through a vision, through not even actually touching me.
And everyone's like, well, his mark's on him.
God damn it.
He must know where he is.
Maybe that's what it is, you know? You just gotta go off into the world, disappear for a little bit. Everyone thinks you're dead. You come back paralyzed and a little bit different, you know? Just personality change. And then just start saying some shit and people will believe you, you know? Just say that you can see all the world, and fuck it. We'll get a religion out of this, you know? That's what it feels like. It feels like they're starting like a whole new religion out here.
That's true.
But
yeah, no, it's funny to watch them lay this plan out. They're like, Bran, you'll be over there. Theon, you and your Ironborn will go out there. That's good. Plan set there. Tyrion's like, all right, then me and Davos, we're going to signal Jon and Dany at the right time to ignite the trench around the battle. So that's step one. And it's hilarious to know some of the stuff that doesn't go to plan, such as this. But Daenerys overrides him, declaring he will be in the crypts for his own safety. If the battle is won, she will need him. And it's a nice little, like, the camera goes to Jorah and he's like, I did that. You know, he's like, she values my opinion.
I'm really the hand of the queen here, actually.
Tyrion doesn't even know. I like to imagine him doing a nice little snicker under his voice and with those fishnet stockings that are underneath his pants.
Yep. 100%. That's what he does in his own time. You know, off camera we don't see.
That's just his hobby
in his quarters.
That's just what he does in his free time. But when we saw him at the brothel, when he ran into Tyrion for the first time, he'd actually just got done performing.
You're right. He just got done with a shift. He was just taking a little break,
winding down.
Yeah. Okay. Now, wow. And that's
a
whole new rewatch is with the lens.
We got to rewatch the whole show again with this in mind. Tyrion, not super big fan of this idea, but he accepts it ultimately. And Davos suggests the dragons will be helpful on the battlefield, but Jon notes they need the dragons near the gods would protect Bran. When Bran is luring the Night King in for an ambush, they'll hold the dragons back to keep the Night King from suspecting a trap. Then when their enemy makes his move for Bran, they'll strike. And Arya asks the question, you know, does Dragonfire stop the Night King? To which Bran can only reply, he has no idea.
I don't know.
No one has ever attempted it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. Nobody's ever done it.
Little tidbit, you know, because like dragons are rare now. Like they weren't really back then. And Bran saying that the Night King has tried multiple times to kill the Three-Eyed Raven either just means that the Night King has just never made it even close to south of the wall, and then the Three-Eyed Raven just stays at the wall and guards the Night King from getting down there. So he just never would have came into contact with dragons ever.
I will also grant that until about 300 years ago, dragons were also not in Westeros.
Ah, they were only in Valyria. Okay, and then over in Essos, I guess that makes sense.
Which I've always had a little like they never went.
Like the dragons themselves never flew over there.
The dragons never flew around.
Yeah.
That's always been like. I mean, obviously they don't like the cold, so it would make sense that they never went to like the north of Westeros. You know, but like I imagine they'd have found their way around the world a little bit, you know, and not been like, well, this is where the Narrow Sea ends. Back to Essos, baby. You know, like,
yeah.
But who knows? But yeah, so that's why the dragons, because I think they've said something about how it's been like 1,000 years since the last long night. So I think it's been like 1,000 years since the last time the Night King even tried this.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure they've said that at some point. I don't know when that was.
Yeah, no, I guess that is true. So it has. Is that the last time he tried it? Or the last time he was successful? Like, was the long night, did it work?
Or well, that's what's also funny. Clearly it didn't.
Yeah, because everyone's alive.
Humans are alive.
Is that the plan I've always to just wipe out and start anew?
I'm like, what are they referring to when they say there was a long night?
I mean, we have the long night. That's what episode 3 is called. And that's the Night King. So maybe he was defeated. Maybe, and this is a new... But no, because...
I guess that's what the Children of the Forest and the First Men, they defeated the White Walkers when they joined forces.
Uh-huh. But that was...
Maybe that is what the last long night is.
They created the Night King first, though. It wasn't like they created the Night King to win.
The Children of the Forest created the Night King to defeat the First Men.
Mm-hmm. And then
when the Night King started creating White Walkers, Children of the Forest and the First Men were like, shit, okay, let's fucking wrap it up. Huh?
And then they built... that's probably when the wall was built.
That's when the wall was built. So the wall was probably built after the last long night, or the last attempt at a long night.
Because I guess the land north of the wall wasn't snowy and everything.
Not north of the wall.
So all of that land was...
There was also not a wall.
Yeah. Yeah. So they just it's kind of like a Bad Batch scenario. They were like, oh, we created this beast. We can either carpet bomb the facility or just bomb the planet, to fix that. Yeah. But in this case, they're like, ooh, oopsies. We'll just build a massive wall. Just cut them off.
Wall. Magic wall. Go up several feet. Bran the Builder, baby. But after everyone leaves the meeting, Tyrion pulls up a chair next to Bran and is like, so... what the fuck is up, man? What's going on there? You got, I can tell you got stories to tell, brother. Let's tell them. And Bran's like, oh, it's quite a long story. I don't believe you would like to hear it. And he's like, if only we were trapped in a castle with nowhere to go and all the time in the world.
Come on, Bran.
Great little interaction.
Yeah. Obviously, he's going to want to know your story, man.
And Bran's like, yeah, I know you want to know my story. And I know that when I tell you my story, you're going to be like, this kid should be king.
Yeah. You'll bring that back up later. You'll bring up this conversation we're having off screen later.
Okay.
Would have liked to know what...
like, I think I have an idea of where this could go,
Would have liked to know what details he told Tyrion here that made him so... oh, yes, you're the king. Or maybe it's just the fact that, like, oh, no, your abilities are true, so it just
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he's survived insurmountable odds. He's done a ton of crazy shit. He's got these abilities. That's the thing that, like...
left?
It makes the most sense that Bran would be king. Like, it's just narratively, it is a little bit like, okay, sure, fine, but, like, it makes sense in universe. I get it. But at the large fireplace in the main hall of Winterfell, Tyrion and Jaime sit together and are drinking and talking. And at one point, Tyrion says he'd love to see their father's face when they decided to defend Winterfell and potentially die here. And that Jaime ponders that for a moment and then laughs his ass off like, God damn, yeah, he'd fucking hate that, wouldn't he? But soon after, Podrick, Brienne, they both walk in and begin to drink as well. Brienne saying that she will not be having a glass and Podrick is only permitted a small one, and Tyrion pours one over until it is overflowing on the ground.
This was fun, man. Like...
and Podrick being like,
oh, like,
this room is the best room and the best part of this episode.
Dude, it was so good. Yeah,
it's so good. And it's such a, like, you got Davos, Brienne, Podrick, Tormund, Jaime. Like,
damn,
these people, they are related in some capacity. They have connections.
Mm-hmm.
Not extensive ones, like
it's all
there's some
preparing for the shit that's about to come tomorrow. They're all just like we know, like they're about to have shared trauma if they make it out through. So it's like it's like they already have shared trauma, like before it's even happened. They're all just going through it.
They're facing their impending doom. Like whenever Davos walks in, he's like, I decided I better stay inside and warm until I die, or I could wait outside cold till I die. So it was a no-brainer for me. So I'm here by the fire. And
gotta love it.
Tormund walks in. I love when Tormund walks in and just turns and looks at Brienne. It's just like, so,
hey, hey, what's up, Brienne? Yeah, this.
Do you want to know how I got the name Giantsbane? I
yeah,
killed a giant at the age of 10.
He walks in with his own fucking.
With his horn.
Yeah, oh my god, of goat's milk or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, my god. And just
soured goat's milk.
Maybe north of the wall, it is attractive to chug goat's milk like that, and maybe he really thought that he was doing something to Brienne there.
He did.
But what do you mean? Oh, he did something to her?
He thought no. I mean, he thought he did.
I was gonna say he did something to Brienne, and he gave her the exact opposite.
On.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's turning on the charm in his head, explaining that he killed a giant and suckled at his wife's tit for 3 months.
Badass.
That's why I'm so big now.
If we had Ygritte here, dude, man, only if we had Ygritte here to be like, there's no.
You never fucked the bear.
You never sucked the giant's tit, or I don't know. You
never sucked the giant's tit. You never fucked the bear. None of us believe you ever fucked the bear.
A bear.
I fucking love Ygritte. A bear.
Man.
Fuck the bear. I miss Ygritte. I miss Ygritte so bad. She would have been great. She'd have been so good. But he explains that story, and then as everyone looks on, unsure of how to react, he just decides that's when he's gonna guzzle down this horn of milk. Like, and so he goes straight from telling the story. Everyone reacts, and he just.
Yep, that's my cue, guys. All right, I guess time to chug.
And it's dribbling down his beard and down his armor and stuff, and you're like, God damn it, Tormund.
Hey,
but
dude knows how to have fun. He's
he does. He gets
he's
down.
A great guy.
Tormund feels like the Jason Kelce of Westeros.
Yeah. Yes, that is kind of Jason and Travis mixed into one. Almost
a little bit.
He's got that teddy bear side when needed, I feel like, but man, when he wants to get rowdy, he can just get rowdy.
He can get there. He can get
the
there.
The Giantsbane part of him. Yeah, that's it's the Giant's milk. That's what made him so strong and so big. So, what do you say for like 3 months, or for like he was just there? He just, I mean, why would you leave? I mean, like if you are like, no way, this is actually, I mean, who knows? Actually, like, I don't know. I'm taking the bear story and then this to like kind of mean that he just talks himself up a whole lot. But like, I'd love to headcanon this for the actual reason as to why Tormund's just so big. He actually is like half giant just from giant's breast milk. I think that'd be
just giant breast milk, man.
Giant breast milk.
He's looking good.
That sounds so weird.
Just giant breast milk.
Yeah.
Is that like a hose? You're just, like, is it just kind of?
Oh, dude. Like, yeah. I mean, coming out at a much greater volume. That's for sure.
It's got to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's
a much larger breast. Like, I got to imagine that's.
It can't lots be. Of calcium. I don't know. You just.
I mean, like, yeah, he's really. It would make sense. That's why he's so big and badass.
Yeah.
But yeah, upon upstairs, the rooftops walkway, Arya approaches the Hound, and they sit down for a moment side by side. Fucking love this. I fucking love them. And
here's my line of the episode. Finally, is is everything was pretty dominated by Brienne here for me, or maybe someone else later. But the Hound, it was kind of a like I just started like I think I was taking a drink and it got me to kind of like spit up a little bit. Like I don't think I was fully paying attention at the time, and like I don't know, and it just caught me off guard. But I just laughed like, and I thought it was funny. But it's whenever Arya's just sitting there, just kind of staring at him, not saying anything, and he says, "You never used to shut up, and now you're sitting there like a mule." She just like he calls Arya a mule. Like I don't know. It's just like the Hound. I love just his vocabulary. Just he's always on it. And just I don't know, everything he says. He's the only guy to get me to like laugh actually, like out loud, like randomly, man. And like usually it's a cunt that he'll let out that like will get me and catch me off guard. But yeah, mule. This time just was not expecting it.
Does he say mule, man?
I think it is, unless my phone just auto-corrected, maybe.
I'm going mute.
Is it a mute? Just sitting there like a mute? Oh, that actually probably makes a lot more sense.
Like they don't speak.
Yeah.
So that's where my money's at.
Okay.
But
that makes a lot more sense with a mute. But I guess that wasn't the
mule would be funnier.
Man, yeah, I'd prefer it to be mule, honestly.
I would too. You said it, and I'm like, that'd be so fucking funny. I wish.
Thank you. That makes infinitely more sense than mule. But no, I love the switch up of this, like the Hound being the guy at the beginning to not say a single word and to be like, "Will you ever shut up?" You know, Arya like being the one to tell her to shut up, and now he's the one just blabbering on with Beric and you know whatever.
And Beric and the Hound sitting up there being like, "God damn, man, yeah, we're still at it, aren't we?"
Yep.
And Arya's like, "All right, I'm gonna leave." And the Hound's like, "Where the fuck are you going?" And I only got a few hours left on this world. I'm not gonna spend it with you two miserable shits. And she dips on out of there. I love the way the Hound and Beric look at each other and they're like, "Yeah, I wouldn't expect her to." But Arya goes to begin target practice with her bow and arrow, and while doing so, Gendry arrives with her new weapon he forged for her. And being curious after all this time, she asked Gendry what the Red Woman wanted from him so many years ago. And Gendry said his blood, that the leeches were used for a spell. And she's like, "Why the fuck would she want your blood?" And he's like, "Well, because I'm the bastard son of Robert Baratheon." And this is like, she's genuine like, "Oh."
Like, holy shit. Yeah, I love how Davos is like, "All right, don't mention this to anybody. You know, like you're just whatever."
That's me.
Literally to Jon, to Arya, it's like, "Yeah, I'm the fucking bastard of Robert Baratheon. Who cares?" It's what almost got me murdered a couple seasons ago. But who cares now? I guess it doesn't really matter now, you know, like doesn't really matter.
Well, if Daenerys knew, it could be a problem.
Do you think people would really rally behind him? Like that he would have like a legitimate claim right now?
I don't.
Because of like Cersei and everything. Like Cersei's, she's the, I don't know. I feel like there is, Stannis isn't a thing.
To be honest,
there's no more Baratheons.
I think there's a better chance that Westerosi nobles do rally around a Baratheon as opposed to a Targaryen in the face of Cersei's tyranny. You know, like, I don't know. I think that like, but regardless, it doesn't end up going that way. So I don't think it's not that big of a problem. But Arya asks him how many partners he slept with since. And he's like, "I didn't sleep with the Red Woman." And she's like, "Okay, but how many partners have you slept with?" And he's like, "I didn't keep count." And she's like, "Yes, you did." And he's like, "Okay, 3. And Arya's like, "All right, well, I think we're gonna die. So let's do this thing."
Yeah. Yeah, pretty to the point here. You gotta kind of be in this situation. I think it was clear. I think, you know, the weapon being made, seeing them all steamed up in the forge, everything, and then the last nail in the coffin was seeing the Hound and Beric Dondarrion, and Arya was like, "Okay, yeah, Gendry." Like they're like, she was like,
"They're going out like this, bruh."
Like, so I thought it was really nice, and it gave, you know, I don't know, finally a just Maisie Williams. You just seen the growth of that character, being the little girl she was literally in season 1, and now
it's a tad jarring.
It is weird. Yeah, it is a little weird, but like it's nice to see that she's like fully grown
the character's
up,
growth.
Yeah, she's grown up and she's she's living life. At least she's getting
Yeah,
getting some of the good
she's
stuff
taking
now.
matters into her own hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've often possessed the thought that her abilities beyond sex have indicated a certain degree of growth in the character.
That this wasn't needed. You mean?
And I'm fine with it. I don't mind it per se.
I
Macy
think
Williams
it's
got a body double for this scene as well, so it's not her that's naked on set too, which I think made her more comfortable too. It made me a tad more comfortable having watched her since she was like 7.
Yeah, that is the weird part.
It's just an awkward position to put the viewer in a little bit. Like I don't mind, like from a storytelling standpoint, I think it makes sense. I think it's a generally good choice to be like, this character's come such a long way. Look at her now. She's out here having sex with a dude who she knew when she was 8 and he was like 18. Sure, it's fine. It's no, like there's just a lot of weird shit going on. But
I mean,
it is what it is.
It's
a little bit of an Anakin Padme thing where he's like, I haven't seen you in so long. Oh my God, you're grown now.
Yeah. Okay, but the other way. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's interesting to be sure. But yeah, I mean the main if I recall correctly, Macy Williams was not a fan of this. She was like, no, this is not a good idea. So that's kind of been my baseline, and I hope I'm remembering that correctly. Otherwise, I've had a completely wrong basis for this. But I feel like I remember Macy Williams being like, didn't love that choice, didn't think we needed it. But
feels like it's for the fans. It's just like you have a Stark, you have a Baratheon. It's good for both of them. They haven't had anything good or Arya's, she's been successful, but she hasn't had anything nice, or just like not killing someone
death.
Or it's always been death. How about a little bit of life?
It is nice to see her with love. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. But back at the fireplace, the group of Brienne, Tormund, Davos, Pod, Jaime, and Tyrion, wonderful group here, continue to drink and regale stories. And I love that they all are talking about like, how many battles have been survived between the 6 people in this, or the 5 people, or 6, I think it's 6 people in this room. No, 5. Brienne, Tormund, Davos, Pod, Jaime, Tyrion. 6. Sorry. I don't know how to fucking count. But yeah, so
it's a lot.
And the Battle of Blackwater Bay, and the Battle of the Bastards, and the battle beyond the wall, the battle at the wall, the Siege of Pike, and this and this and this and this, and Davos again makes another comment about how he's not much of a fighter, and Tormund goes, I love that that's kind of their thing.
Tormund loves
like,
to downplay Davos, like Davos being like, before they went north of the wall, he's like, yeah, I'd be a hindrance to you guys, and Tormund was like, yeah, no, you would. No, yeah, you're right. You would be a hindrance to us. And then now it's like, yeah, not much of a fighter. He goes, yep, that's right. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
There's not a single Davos hater other than Tormund.
And I love that Tormund's not even really hating. He's just like, nah, true.
That's true. Like, he's like, no, that is true. Yep.
Davos always makes the comment first.
Yeah, I guess it isn't out of like fuck you, Davos. It's just like no, you're
hilarious.
You're right.
Is that like, and the funny thing is that those comments typically don't invite someone to be like, that's true, your insecurities are founded in reality.
Yeah, that's fair. Usually it is like you're looking for something to be like, oh no, but you
survived all this, and Tormund's like, no, you got fucking lucky, man. Yeah, you shouldn't have survived.
No, you're totally right. Yeah, you're a shitty fighter. Like, yeah, okay, thanks, Tormund.
Oh, we've been talking about Tormund enough that I almost want to switch my fucking character to him. But regardless, soon the subject turns to knighthood when they ask about Sir Jaime and Sir Brienne, and Brienne insists, I'm not a knight. And Tormund's like, why? And he's like, women aren't knights. It's just kind of how it is. Tradition. And Jaime refills his drink and mentions aloud, the tradition isn't strictly true. The king or queen does not have to make a knight. Any knight can make another knight. At first, Brienne kind of looks around and looks at Pod. I love that Pod's kind of her sounding board, and Pod's like,
yes,
like Pod's like, yeah,
Brienne, like,
yeah,
yes, do this.
you've earned that, and I just love the unabashed support for this woman in this room. Oh my fucking God, does it make me so goddamn happy?
Oh, man. Yeah, because everyone's just loving this moment. Like, it's...
Oh, dude.
And this is the scene of the episode. I think it's pretty clear, like, without a doubt.
This made me fucking sob 2 weeks ago when I watched it. It made me fucking fall apart the first time I watched it. I remember it gave Gwendoline Christie the performance. It gave this scene the scene. I only didn't go with Brienne in the spirit of spreading love for character. Like, and frankly, the line where Jaime goes, "In the name of the mother, I grant you this. In the name of the father, I grant you this. In the name of Arise, Brienne of Tarth, a knight of the 7 kingdoms." And the first person who stands up and just fucking Tormund, fucking love it. Tormund's like, God damn it, yes, I love it. I love it.
I did the same thing as you. I gave her character. I'm like, okay, no one is. It's Sir Brienne of Tarth. I could type that now officially and be good about it. So I'm like, okay, Sir Brienne of Tarth, character nod, and I'm like, performance to Gwendoline Christie. It feels the most right. I did want to throw in a curveball. A first, I think it would be a first from Podrick Payne, Daniel Portman. Is that actually him singing at the end? Then I kind of want to go with him because of that. Just because it's
Jenny
cool.
of Old Stones. Yeah. Jenny of Old Stones is a fucking bop. I actually recorded a cover. It's on SoundCloud. Jenny of Old Stones, performed by me. It's on SoundCloud. Yes, somewhere. Go ahead, look for it.
Well, then,
anybody out there?
I will have to solidify Podrick as the performance then, because I'll have to,
this song, I loved it. The credits is performed by Florence and the Machine, a version of Jenny of Old Stones, or Jenny of Old Stone, and I fucking love Florence and the Machine, so I loved this song, and I was just like, yeah, let's fucking do this thing.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you though, do you think this scene deserves the double nod, from both of us? So. Because I have one other option.
I mean, there are a few others that hit the spot, but this one made me fucking cry.
This is cry in the actual scene, which is why I'm saying like it's the undoubted scene of the episode. But where I think Cogman started to get his cogs turning and like finally back into battle mode is whenever Jon, when they were starting to plan the battle. It was like it started out so good, and Jon, they're coming. We have dragon glass, Valyrian steel. Yeah. He's like starting to monologue, and but it's not showing Jon. It's showing like Winterfell. It's showing them making all the weapons. It's showing.
It reminds me of of like a Star Wars movie. Whenever the music's flaring up and all the rebels are like rushing to their ships,
exactly,
and equipment,
exactly. And like if the scene could have been more prolonged like that, because then it just turned into them at the table talking, and there were some weak points there. There, like it wasn't strong kind of the whole way through. So I think I'm definitely good.
No, that part was dope. That's a good. I'd forgotten about that. That is a very cool part. But yeah, man, I'm going the Brienne scene.
It's got to get the double.
When Gwendoline Christie looks at the room and her eyes fill up with tears and she smiles and just, oh my fucking God, dude. Like what a great moment for a fantastic character, for an actress who deserved a moment like this. I'm a huge fan of Gwendoline Christie, so I was so glad to see this. But
hell yeah.
Outside in the courtyard, Jorah is speaking to his cousin Lyanna, his little cousin, Lady Lyanna Mormont. And as everyone prepares for the imminent arrival of the army of the dead, Lyanna and her cousin Jorah have an argument. And Jorah strongly advises her to remain in the crypt with the other women and children, as she is the future of House Mormont, but Lyanna stoutly refuses. She wants to fight along the rest of the men and women, and Jorah allows her to make up her own mind. And Sam then approaches Jorah, giving his family sword Heartsbane, knowing it'll be put to better use with Jorah wielding it. And in the honor of his late father Jeor, who was more of a father to Sam than his own, Jorah indeed says he will use it in his father's memory to guard the realms of men. And before leaving, Sam looks back at Jorah and goes, I hope we win.
living is remembering. And
thanks, Sam.
yeah,
I hope we win too.
He is kind of being a little forced. I don't know. It seems a little forced a little bit here. Like it does feel like not Sam, but I hope we win.
I hope we win. And
Aw,
I mean,
Sam.
like, I also kind of appreciate it. Like that it's a little charming, you know, like this is the only character that line would come from. So I appreciate that it came from him,
Mhm.
you know, kind of just, well, I hope we win. Good luck.
What else
Like,
do you say?
yeah,
I'll see
like
you
it's
later,
just,
because then you might not, you will not. Um, yeah, it's just a fucked situation all in all. It's not
it is.
good.
It
What's
isn't good.
coming?
It is not good. But at the hearth and out of wine, Tyrion asks the small group if anyone can sing. He looks at Davos and he's like, "Oh, you'll be wishing you were dead already." Um, they look around. Everyone's like, "No," and then Pod just begins. High in the halls of the kings who are gone.
Oh,
And I like that Tyrion is like,
yeah.
"Okay,
He doesn't say, "Oh,
okay."
I can sing." He just starts. I loved it. Like he's like
Yeah,
Davos be like, "Oh
yeah,
no, I can't, not at all. No, can anyone else?" A little bit of a pause, and then just he just starts. Oh
yeah. He just
man,
goes,
love.
just
He just
goes.
Podrick is just, he's the Rhaegar. He's the new
He is.
Renaissance man. He can fuck. He
Yeah,
can sing.
he
He
can
can
fight.
fight.
He
He
can
can
sing. Yeah,
squire. He can. And he knows all the shit. He knows all the info. Cause Tyrion,
he's the goat,
dude, come
man.
on, man.
I'm so glad my boy makes it out. I love Pod, man.
That's Bran's
But
successor right there. That's
yeah,
who knows? That's maybe who should be actually on the throne right now.
it should be Pod.
Yeah.
It would have been hilarious if Tyrion was like, "And who has the best story of all?" Than Sir Podrick Payne. You
Podrick
know, like,
Payne. Yes.
yeah.
The guy who just absolutely floored the brothels and made gold instead of
This man,
Payne.
this
Yes.
man has a cock of gold.
No.
If that's not worthy of king, what is?
Oh, yes, I would have almost forgot, because no Hodors have been, at all. So I never go over to the Hodor or the Arya kill list at all. But definitely, we got to kill in this episode her virginity. She fucking killed it. Let's go. A confirmed kill, 100% clean. This one's a clean
100%.
addition to the list.
This is. It's true.
So yeah.
I love the little montage we get here of while he's singing, we see like Samwell, Gilly, and little Sam lying in a bed together, and Sansa in the castle courtyard eating a bowl of soup with Theon. A nice little moment. Gendry and Arya in bed after having sex, and you know the vibes. Pussy put his ass to sleep.
Boys,
Boy's gone.
Yeah,
Boy's not
getting some slumber before the battle. A good nap.
He's
A
like,
good sleep. Yeah.
This is gonna be good sleep tonight. Good on them. Good on them. She stares off in deep thought while he's fast asleep. But Missandei gives Grey Worm one heavy and deep kiss goodbye before he must leave with the rest of the Unsullied army. And then, in the crypts, Jon is staring at the statue of Lyanna Stark.
Yeah.
Red Lyanna automatically went Mormont. Statue of Lyanna Stark. And Daenerys finds him there and approaches, and she wraps an arm around his waist as he holds her hand before Daenerys asks who the statue is of. And like it was cute, you could tell that Jon obviously has a great deal of love for the woman who's draped upon him here. When she like just kind of comes up and hugs him and is like, it's so sweet.
This?
It's just so fucking like,
yeah, like,
God damn it, man.
Like, oh, who's this, Jon? Oh, how you feeling? Oh, that's just my mom. Oh, and you're just my aunt. You don't know this yet, but
this is your sister-in-law.
Yeah. Hey, take a good look. Here's some family you never met.
Yeah, exactly. You needed another bit of family you never met. Here's a new family you have, though, biblically.
Yeah. Yep. Ooh, man. Yeah. Always awkward. This one is to watch this.
Yeah, but he handles it well. He does. He explains this is Lyanna Stark. And Daenerys is like, I just can't believe it. Everything I've ever heard about my brother, they said he was a wonderful man who sang and loved, and he raped her. And Jon turns to face Daenerys and goes, "Well, he didn't." I love Kit Harington has one of my favorite accents in the show. The way he like chops up words is very satisfying to me.
He did. Yeah, like
the
syllables are very
they're very pronounced.
Yeah.
I dig it. But he explains Rhaegar didn't rape Lyanna, but that he loved her, and together they were secretly wed, and they had a son. And if Robert Baratheon found out, the baby surely would have been killed. And Lyanna gave that child to Ned Stark and raised his nephew as his own child, pretending the child was a bastard. The last word spoken on Lyanna's birthing bed was the name of her son. And it's then that Jon finally tells Daenerys that he is that child. And my real name is Aegon Targaryen.
Yeesh.
And of course, Daenerys is like, "Oh yeah?
Really?
Where'd you hear that?
Really?
Where'd you hear that?"
Whose opinion?
Samwell read it in a scroll at the Citadel, and Bran saw it however he sees things. And she's like, "Okay, so the only two people who can confirm this are your brother and your best friend. Okay. Even if this was true, it would make you the last male heir of the House Targaryen." And they stare at each other for a moment before hearing boing. Boing.
What happens here?
Boing.
So is this the morning, or they said they will arrive before
daybreak.
Before daybreak. So I guess, okay, so they would show up at night. So it does make sense then. Yeah. But I really, man.
I'm like, it's night all next episode.
That's, yeah. It is a long night.
And that is notoriously what the episode is known for.
True.
Is it not being bright.
I was thinking of watching next episode on my phone. Just I don't know, randomly. I think I'm gonna switch it up next episode and see how that goes for me.
This is the one. If there's any one episode to watch on your phone which is not properly lit in any capacity and you want to not be able to see anything, it probably would be that one.
Man, yeah, that's it's funny to say like that a episode looks bad whenever you just didn't give it the proper viewing in the first place. I think that's hilarious. But no, yeah, this
I'm like, here's the thing. Now, should I have to turn off every light in my house and close the curtains and make sure that all my lights are make sure that there is no light in my room whatsoever? No, I probably shouldn't have to do that. But if that's what I have to do, that's what I'm gonna fucking do.
I guarantee you know what? I will do it. Yeah. I will.
And I can see it. Tape. It looks good.
Yeah, I will put tape on my curtains to make sure that there is zero light coming in, so I can get every little pixel of this next episode.
Every little bit of that. I'm excited for it. I haven't watched it on the Blu-ray yet.
Ooh.
So I'm excited to see it with a little bit more. The darks are darker. The light is lighter. The color is more vibrant. I'm excited. I recall when that episode came out. I watched season 8, episode 3. Every single night for a week.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of was the
Sunday
episode.
Night, Monday night. I think I watched it 2 times Sunday night also.
Yeah.
It ended, and then I was like, all right, guys, I'm going out of my room. I'm going to go watch that shit again. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I gotta take that one in one more time. Holy fuck. Yeah, it was a moment, that's for sure. Like, it was, holy shit, and it was also already here, You
remember how big of a pop culture weekend that was? Avengers Endgame came out that weekend also.
Damn, that was what a moment in time to go through.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's actually crazy. The end of Thrones.
So you probably saw that Thursday night. I feel like everyone saw that Thursday night previews pretty much. And then Sunday night.
Yeah, that was it.
Game of Thrones season 8, episode 3.
Locked in. Yeah. Yeah, that's, man.
But man, I'm a big fan of this episode. I think that it has a lot going for it. I think that there are obvious critical disparages it goes through. But that can be said for a lot of season 8. And compared to a few other episodes of season 8, I think like this isn't as bad.
Yeah, this one was nice. And I don't know, even like in enjoyment wise as well, a lot better. Just because of it,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it was for. It was, let's mash up all these characters and give you the reunions you want, and maybe sometimes it was a little awkward or some dialogue was a little weird, but
well, and there's also the tone. The first time you're watching this, you don't know which of these is last moments spent with each other,
That's true.
Like,
we have no idea the Night King is dying next episode whenever we watch this. Like,
yeah.
I swear I'm thinking this is like the finale or the penultimate that the Night King will die. So I'm not thinking like at all. No way. Like they'll retreat somehow, or I don't know what the fuck is going to happen. I'm not thinking all these people are about to die, but that is in my back pocket, But yeah, it's, man, to be able to see this for the first time again would be something special. But upon rewatch, this one is very, very nice to reminisce and have that calm before the storm, and just chill out, have some wine, have Tyrion pouring Podrick that full fucking glass. That's the vibe of the whole episode. We're getting away with a little extra tonight because we're allowed to.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love it, man. I love it. How you feeling about it? Scale of 1 to 10. And before we get there, I'm gonna go ahead and do some plugs. We're gonna rate this episode here in a moment, but first, if you're not watching, you can now on YouTube, youtube.com. Look up Penny Bloom Podcast. We're there for you, baby. What you looking all shocked at there?
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought the views number, I thought that our Age of Ultron video got 2.7 thousand views, but that's just, that's total for the last
playlist.
28 days. Yes, okay. Anyways, sorry.
Gotcha.
But
no, you're okay. That'd have been crazy. But anywho, you can watch on YouTube, and we would appreciate it if you did. You saw the excitement that was on Joseph's face. If you are watching, that's how much it would mean to us if you did. If 2.7 thousand of you watched it, that would be super cool. I would appreciate it greatly. And we got a lot of fun stuff. TikTok at Penny Bloom Podcast, Instagram. I've been a little shoddy over there, but I'm gonna get back on it. At Penny Bloom Podcast over there, on Twitter at Penny Bloom Pod. We got all sorts of shit coming your way, all over social media. It's a lot of fun. But ultimately, my favorite place for you to be is patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where for $3 a month you can support the podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and the like. Anytime I see a new 2024 movie or any new movie for the first time on the big screen, I like to write a review of it, put it up over there. Recently, I did a quick 500-word review of Lisa Frankenstein, which was a fun one, and that review is over there. So you can check it out, patreon.com/PennyBloomPod. But anywho, how are we feeling? Scale of 1 to 10, enjoyment-wise here.
I mean, last episode was a 7.5. I'm definitely not there. I think am I at a 9? I think
I am. I think if an episode makes me cry, like if an episode makes me cry,
that
makes me feel like it's a 9, And frankly, while that's like my favorite scene, it was still a strong episode. Like there were multiple scenes besides that I wanted to pick. I just couldn't because of that scene, Like Tyrion and Jaime's walk through the courtyard. Love that scene. I think that's a wonderful little reunion for them. I loved it's not a long one, but the rooftop little interaction between Arya, Beric, and the Hound. I think that's a great one. Like there's just a few. I mean, even the Jon and Dany interaction at the end is strong. Like it's just there's just a lot.
They're all
just
kind of short and sweet. It's not like a big like, oh, we got time to sit with this scene really for a long time, so it's like the clear winner. No, it's just kind of a whole lot of good spread out throughout the episode. So I think, I don't know,
bouncing around.
A 9 is episode 6 of last season, which was Beyond the Wall. That's what we gave.
I think I like it as much as Because here's the thing: is that episode gives a little more excitement, obviously, um, but it didn't provide me with as much emotion as this one did,
Yes.
and just joy. Like there are not a lot of Game of Thrones episodes that straight up make you happy.
Yeah.
And I
No
think that's worth
deaths.
something.
There's no deaths. It's actually peaceful.
Can you off the top of your head name an episode that straight up makes you happy? Or like I feel like the last time that happened would have been like when Jon was with Ygritte.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever they're just that's
And that's like
probably it.
5 seasons ago.
Yeah, Missandei and Grey Worm, a little bit. There's some moments there that feels good.
And like even when I say Jon and Ygritte, I'm like, I still don't even recall what else happened in those episodes. So I can't say front to back the episodes made me joyful.
This
Like
is an
this episode
episode
just makes
full of
me
it. Yeah.
happy. Yeah.
So yeah, very special. I don't know, maybe even a little boost for that. I'm fine with
Maybe
a 9,
1925.
but a 9.25 I might be comfortable with. So yeah, I think I can dig. I can dig that. Okay. Is a 9.5, is that too high? Or do we want to go even
I think
higher?
9.5's a tad too. I
Okay.
think 9.5's a tad too.
Okay.
I think 9.25 would be my ceiling. 9 would be my floor.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure before we stopped there. But all right. Now critically here, last episode was a 6. I do think this one was done a little better. I still have this feeling that the show is self-aware of how big it is at this point, and everyone knows that's working on it, and it's lost. I don't know. The show has lost something, and I don't know exactly how to pinpoint it, but it feels.
You hit the nail on the head. I think it was last week when you said the show is a bit too self-aware.
Yeah, it's too.
I actually recently listened to our season 7, episode 6 episode, our episode on Beyond the Wall, because fourth wall break here. That's the most recent one that released here, by the way, as far as when we're recording.
Gotcha.
But we had a tough time pinpointing what it was that felt off, and you said it like a couple weeks later. Self-awareness. Like it is so aware of. Characters are aware they're in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Like
and
Tormund interrupting Jon, hugging, saying, like, I don't know. It's not really that. Like, that's not really the moment, but it feels like that's the start. The going down that path is like that wouldn't have happened in, I don't know, in like previous seasons. Or I'm trying to find a better example. That's not just Tormund doing that, but like it's just certain things that are said and during, like, I don't know. It's not. And that's why I have such a hard time pinpointing it, is because it is this kind of just general lens that's laid across the whole episode. It's like, it's like this whole thing. But
and I think that there's a lot that the show is still operating at a high level for, which I think visually this episode was better than last. That was one of our complaints about episode 1, is that like this didn't used to be a like criticism, and it's sad that it is now. It looked a little bit more like a blockbuster. Like it looks like they again, they know what they're working with. Like they know what they're working with. And I think there comes a point whenever we're in season 8, how are we going to wrap this fucking story up? Is it possible to live up to those expectations? At what point do they just try to appease as many people as possible? So they do try to do things that they think will be, oh, didn't see that coming. Whoa, that's perfect. That's what I always wanted. Whoa, didn't see that coming. Whoa, I always wanted that. Like that sort of thing. So it's feels like the show's layered with a bunch of twists and a bunch of reveals, and 6 episodes is just not enough to do that effectively. Like one thing that I will say for this episode, as much as I love it, in a 6 episode season and the last season of the show, can you really afford an episode like this?
only because of how fast things happen next episode can they. Like, because, if you're still operating under the thought that the Night King is going to be killed much later in the season, that's what the whole show's building towards. So I don't know. I'm not upset that he dies next episode. I was just very, very in the thought of that he's dying last episode or the episode before.
Right.
I feel like that was a big twist that they wanted to throw in there. I don't know. That they just wanted to kind of get him out early and kind of show the aftermath more. And just knowing that it is 6 episodes, that just sucks. Like that's the only thing that I truly hate going back. I don't think the decisions they made are necessarily that bad. It's just the decision to cut 3 episodes and then 4 episodes from a season is just, I don't know.
You can afford this episode if it's episode 2 of a 10-episode season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
but it's not.
That's fine, I like. So ultimately, I think it is just a problem with pacing. Everything had to, because these first 3 episodes, like, obviously, I would have liked a little bit more of an extended war with the Army of the Dead. I think that would be a little bit cooler than just a battle with the Army of the Dead. But
yeah,
regardless, it happens the way it happens. But I mean, we're looking at 2 3-episode arcs to end this show, to wrap up 75 hours of television. You're like, let's wrap it up in these last 5.
Yeah, we got it. Sure. That's the part that'll always get to me, is the less episodes. Maybe they just wanted to get it done. They knew it wasn't going to be pretty. They were like, fuck, well, might as well just do it quicker. Rip the Band-Aid off faster. But I don't think that's what they were thinking.
It'll always be funny to see those videos of, like, the cast members whenever someone, I remember on a red carpet, it was Jacob Anderson, Natalie Emanuel, and Emilia Clarke, Grey Worm Missandei, and Daenerys.
Mm-hmm.
And the interviewer was like, what are you thinking about season 8? And they all just kind of go, and Daenerys goes, best season ever, she says it like that, like, it's gonna be good.
Oh man.
Yeah, so like like, you've seen the pictures of the table reads and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And just like all that, like, it's just,
yeah, them like like, what the fuck? Yeah, but I don't know. I guess
this one, it's a solid episode.
That's where we are.
In the scope of the season, maybe it could have, maybe it should be, like, I don't know how you change the pace in a 6-episode season. Like, this episode's necessary. I think this is an episode that needs to happen no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it just sucks that there's only 4 episodes after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a good episode. There's only a couple things that we had gripes with, like like it was Samwell line delivery and
the Grey Worm Missandei scene.
And that was like really it. Other than that, it was like everything felt good. I'm like,
everything felt
smiling
good.
the whole time.
I do think it looked better than episode 1. I don't think it looked great though.
Yeah, still nothing stand out. Like, they didn't do anything to make it look really good. Like the Godswood, I think, is always just a cheat code. It just always looks good no matter what.
Gorgeous set. Gorgeous set. Yeah.
But okay. In performance, I mean, like, I think everyone's doing their thing.
Everyone is.
Gwendolyn Christie, I think, got a big spotlight here, which was really cool.
But where's that bring it to, number wise?
Last episode was a 6. Critically, and I think this is 6, 7, 5, 7 at the minimum. I think that'd probably be where I'm at the floor.
Yeah, I would say 7 minimum as well. I would even give it the benefit of the doubt a little bit and go 7.25, 7.5.
Yeah.
I think that it's a solid episode.
Could have been visual. Could have done more with the camera. They could have.
Well, and it's like, I used to kind of look at this episode as like the last good example of what Thrones was always good at. History is a long series of men having conversations in rooms.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this entire episode is.
Yeah.
However, we've done better in this show. You know, like, it's a good episode, and I like it a lot. Seeing it done better. So I think a 7.25 even is probably where I come down.
Okay. If we do that, it would average it out to a 7.92, 79%, which looks like a rare number. I'm thinking overall, I don't think I've ever seen that before. The closest was a 7.42. That was Breaker of Chains back in season 4, episode 3. Sevens is just kind of rare. Another 7.1 was season 7, episode 1. 7 flat, Beyond the Wall.
Oh, season 7, episode 1 was a 7.1.
7.1's 7.2 technically, but yeah. Well, you think it should be lower?
I was satisfied by the 7.171.
Yeah. But no. Yeah, this is, I guess, almost an 8. So it's basically an 8, which was. Do we not have any 8 flats either? Really?
Rare range here.
Okay.
Either really high or really low.
That's true. I guess that is kind of how Thrones operates. It's usually just pretty damn good. It's always up there. But okay, 79.
We're on to one of my favorite episodes ever next week. Maybe my favorite ever. We will really be able to consider that after a rewatch. You know, I'm excited for it.
Oh, I'm ready, man.
We do our, and we're booking it the rest of the way. We got 4 weeks left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 weeks left, and then on the Wednesday after that finale, we're gonna do our Game of Thrones 5x5, where we're doing 5 top 5s, baby. I'm so excited, and that's gonna include episodes, characters, performances, and a few more categories that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Duos? A duo, I think, is one of them.
Yeah, duos was fun. Jon and Sam type shit, Jon and Ygritte type shit, Dany and Tyrion type shit, Dany and Missandei type shit, you know, like that. Duos. Was battles or big moments or something like that?
I think it was a big moment, maybe, kind of thing. But
yeah, but regardless, we'll have it all straightened out by the time we get there. But yeah, in the meantime, we are still midst of our Dev Patel actor spotlight, I believe.
We are.
We've already done 2. We've already done The Last Airbender and Chappie as of yet, and this Wednesday will bring us Lion. That we're deeply anticipating Monkey Man right now, and I'm so very excited for that. Just a few weeks away. And this Friday, we are about halfway through The Bad Batch with season 3, episode 8. So we're ramping up to the finale of Thrones. We're ramping up to the finale of The Batch. And man, I can't wait. I'm so very excited. So yeah, that's all the show is right now. Thrones, Dev Patel, Bad Batch, and I think that's a pretty great combo. So keep on coming back for us. We'd appreciate it greatly. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And arise, Brienne of Tarth, a knight of the 7 kingdoms.